What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And yo, I literally just walked into the house. Like literally. So this is crazy. If you have not heard, shout out to Chronicle Speaks. She has unearthed the actual divorce decree of Shirley Strawberry's husband. And it's not Shirley Strawberry's divorce decree. It's actually Martha Williams, his real wife. In addition to this new information that we are just now getting, we're going to be talking about all of it. You guys have been wanting one of these no holds bars, open panels on the topic. There's been so many different like little things that there hasn't even been time to do an open panel. So that's what this is about. If y'all think, come one, come all. The link has already been dropped. If you think that Shirley has gotten it too hard, come up. If you think that she was a fool in love, come up. If you think she was, we'll just say matized, come up. Everybody is welcome, no matter what side you fall on. So go ahead and hit that like button as the intro plays, because we got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Make it make sense. Hey,
Yeah,
I love that. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense, Bill.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
I see you done made your way back over here on my page, looking and lurking. Yes, I know it's exhausting. She's still doing the same thing. She's still all that.
Still all that. Welcome, lurkers and all. Yes. So let me give you guys the actual date. Again, shout out to Chronicle Speaks. Who says that us internet detectives we get a lot of flack, but who knows? This might be Shirley's out. The official divorce of Martha Williams and that man was December 29th, 2021. They were married in 2015? What's up, Callie? What's up, Shauna? What's up, Diamond Eats?
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Somebody has me playing in the background.
Oh, it's me. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I told-
fine.
I'm sorry. I told you I watch you on my TV, but I have you on my phone.
Oh, I like that. 2 views for the price of 1.
Yes.
Okay, so who wants to start? Because it doesn't just have to be about this whole fake marriage. We can talk fake marriage. We can talk what that means for her. We can talk about anything in the Shirley Strawberry saga. This is y'all's open panel discussion.
Well, this is Diamond Eats talking. I just feel like she is a grown woman. I'm 31. I had to think about my age for a second, but I know, even if I'm matized, you know red flag. She's old enough. She didn't see anything. Like, I don't understand it. And nowadays, I know people do background checks, and she's at a certain caliber where you should have somebody, or you, and at the big age that you are, you should be like, she has to get it together.
Somebody else has me in the background. If you wouldn't mind muting, I don't mind the view, but if you would mute.
Oh, and just so you know, my kids are about to go crazy because when my super chats pop up on the screen, they be like, "Oh my God, mom!" So
thank you. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I mean, off topic, literally. So I was at this Tamika Scott concert last night, and there was a very pretty lady sitting a couple people away, and she was like, she came up to me after the performance. She was like, "I'm a straight shooter." I was like, "Oh, I'm always surprised. I met a lot of
Out here in
straight
these
shooters
streets.
this weekend. What'd you say?
It's real out here in these straight shooter streets. Say that 3 times fast.
Miss Love, my private investigator, of whom now I have access to two, they're working on some stuff. So if I could get some private investigators on some stuff, then surely you could have two. So your stance, just before we move to the next person really quickly, is Shirley should have had more insight or known because you feel like she's, like a of a certain age. Diamond, that's to you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. My kids were in the background screaming.
No, I'm saying, so you feel like Shirley should have known because of her age.
Yeah, I mean, you may not know everything, but some things. I only follow this because you are my TV show, and so I feel like I'm caught up, and I just don't understand with everything that you're digging up. How she couldn't dig in. I can understand like a man can tell you, or anybody can tell you like, oh, that was this, that was that. So yes, maybe he could have told you anything, but you gotta do some deep digging with people. You can't just nowadays you can't just take people at face value, and it's sad, but it's the truth.
Somebody's asking, who is Donna? I think I actually found a clip of her talking to Donna. I'll try to pull that up before we go. Callie, you were first. Where do you stand?
Oh, I just want to say thank you, Mims, for doing all of this work and putting up these videos and not having sort of like a bias slant and, just putting it all out there. Because I feel like a lot of people just took the position that Shirley Strawberry was this victim, this older lady that had been scammed by this younger man. And that is just the way they saw the situation, and they weren't really open-minded to anything else. And so with you bringing all this information forward, I had suspected, I don't believe nothing I see in the news. I'm skeptical of everything. I had suspected from the beginning, this is my theory. I think she was already having some type of financial issue, and that's what led her to get involved with this man in the first place.
Well, we know her credit wasn't good.
So
we know
the
that she was already having credit issues. He might have snuck in there with that credit repair and worked his way into his life, because I do think that he's a snake. Sorry. I think that he's a snake, and I think that he's trash, and I think that she was just open to falling in love again. And
yes. But I also think it's more of a Tom Girardi situation where he came in like he was this rich man saving her, but he was really scamming people to get this money he was giving to her. Because it seemed like he was paying for everything. It seemed like her life got upgraded when she got with him. She got a new house. She got new cars. She got all of these things that she didn't have before, which is weird because she should have had a pretty good contract, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
that's a good point, Callie.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because if you listen to the calls, there are points where even though she was really taking digs at Marjorie Harvey, you could tell that there was some semblance of maybe even jealousy, and also these are some aspirational things. Like, she has a sauna in her house. She does seem to be intrigued with things that money can buy you. And so she was always talking to him about that. So if you're listening to the calls like I am, he often talks about abundance, okay, God is going to bless us with more and more and more. And she was she definitely felt, or to me, it felt like she was very susceptible to that ideology.
She's giving Erica Jane. She's not giving me that she was the victim directly.
If Shirley
of this
Strawberry pats her puss, I'm done.
No, what I mean by, in a sense that she was not one of the people being scammed. She was the wife of the girlfriend who was getting all the gifts and stuff after he scammed the people. And then you felt bad that this happened, so now you want to help him. Because you felt like, oh, he gave me all this stuff. He brought me this house. I was living where Shirley was originally. I don't know if she lived there, if that was an income property. I'm not sure. But she owned a home not far from where I live. That's the hood in LA.
I definitely think that was rental property.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think initially when she got with him, she was in Atlanta already.
Okay.
So that house was purchased in the 2000s.
Or maybe she had lost that home and was doing badly, and that's what led her to get with this man. It
No, she
almost
didn't.
didn't.
She didn't lose that home. That home was
Okay.
there. She sold it. She sold it for a huge loss. So I
Yeah,
do
because
think it
they
was she
said it was
needed fast
only
money.
like, I mean, I know how much the homes in this area go for, because like I said, I don't live that far away. I can't tell y'all where I live, but I don't live all that far away. And what they were saying that home sold for in that time period, I was like, well, this home must have just been a piece of junk. Like it must have just been falling down.
Y'all remember that show Baldwin Hills? Callie used to be a cast member on there.
No, I'm actually people. No, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I am from South LA. I'm from the hood. I'm not from Ladera Heights. I'm not from Baldwin Hills. I'm not from Carson. I'm from the hood, and also I'm from the hood in New Orleans too. So I'm from two hoods. But anyhow, this is the thing. It kind of sort of seems like, and this is why I had my antenna went up from the beginning. It did not seem like the man was scamming her. It seemed like she was benefiting from all the scamming, like Erica was. I just think that people are assuming that because maybe there's a little bit of an age difference. So they're like, oh, he came in and scammed this older lady. And I'm like, but this ain't what I'm reading. So I'm just saying, I don't know what she knew, when she knew what she knew, but I do think it's an Erica Girardi situation where she benefited a lot from this stuff that this man was doing, and now she kind of feels bad that he's in jail and I got all these gifts from him and now he's locked up.
It's definitely
Callie,
something
can
to
I
think
ask you a
about.
question? What benefits did you see that she received specifically?
Oh, she got homes, cars, a big old ring. She had none of that stuff before.
Okay, so excuse
All
me.
that stuff that
So,
got repoed, those were not things
mhm.
that she already had. Those were things that he bought for her.
Right, I get. Okay, so let's start with the homes. When you say she got homes, she knew those homes was rented, so they weren't hers. So that's not an
But
upgrade.
she still
And
didn't have them before.
okay, but at the end of the day, if you listen to the phone calls for yourself, you'll hear where she kept imploring him, we need our own. We should not rent. And he was saying, well, no, this is better for now. Let's just deal with this. So she wanted something different in the phone calls, but settled for what he gave her at the time. So I don't see where, if you listen to the phone calls, where at any point it seemed like she felt her life was upgraded. I hear more of her
But it
speaking
was though.
bigly.
It
No, but I'm saying for me, because but for me, I feel more like it was more of a church scam. Shirley seems like the church lady that's over there praying and gotta work it out. And he came in speaking her love language. I love God too. You
but
know
the
what I'm
word
saying?
I think you're seeing it that way because she has a certain appearance and she's an older lady. But if you're looking at the actual timeline and the actual situation, she goes from living like a mile away from me to suddenly
But she
living in these
wasn't living
mansions
here,
and all of
Shirley.
this
I mean,
stuff.
not Shirley. I'm sorry. She wasn't living here, Callie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna need you to go do a little more investigation, more than clips, because I think you're only getting the snippets of what actually happened. If you go in deeper and do the deep dive, you'll see she was not ever living above her means, nor was she ever elevated to some means of excess. If you hear the calls, they both confirm, no, we don't have no millions, we don't have nothing. She keeps saying it over and over again. I don't have no money. I don't have nothing. It's not like she's sitting here trying to floss like everyone's trying to make her seem like, yeah, she takes nice pictures and wears nice clothes. And I think that that's the problem. People just see what you see and you think that that's what that person is representing. But when you hear how this lady is actually speaking, even behind when in her mind no one's listening, she's claiming, we have nothing. I told them we have nothing. I don't know why they think we have something. So it doesn't even seem like she's been
No, she
perpetrating
knows they're
a
being
fraud.
recorded.
Can I
She
can I
knows they're
interject
being
really?
recorded.
Can I interject really quickly? So I definitely see where you're going with that, Autumn, but just in all honesty, your sensibilities where you own your own home and you know to buy things and you're not trying to flash in a rented car, like the Atlanta lifestyle, because everybody in Atlanta has a Bentley. They might be living in a shack, but they got a Bentley or a Rolls Royce. To Callie's point, when you see that they are in a McMansion, right? Anything above 5,000 square feet is technically a mansion. Their initial home was, I think, like 7,000, and the next one was 8,000. What Callie is saying is, even if it was rented and not in her name, there was an elevated lifestyle. There was pictures in the home. They were presenting just like he was driving a Rolls Royce. That might not be our sensibilities, because we might be looking at it like, well, you rented this home and you only paid 1 month rent before you had to, flee in the middle of the night like Sheree did. You get what I'm saying, though?
I get what you're saying, Mims, and I
Yeah,
normally
there
would
were
agree
no
with you. I
mansions
guess
and
the
Bentleys
part
before him.
I
It
get what you're
wasn't.
saying, Callie. Callie, I get what you're saying. But to answer Mim's point, Mims, I would agree with you. If you listen in that one phone call, even though
Mhm.
for us, we're looking at it now, hindsight being 2020, yeah, it may look bigger, it may be shinier, but Shirley said the shit had bugs in it. She
She didn't
said
have
she didn't
what?
want to live there. It had
Oh,
bugs in it, and she didn't want to live in there. She was telling him she did not want to live there, and they needed to move. And he was like, "Yeah, I know you didn't want to live there, and you were saying you didn't want to be there." You see what I'm saying? So I see what.
she was the one who said, you were the one who said there were bugs and you didn't want to be there anymore. That's what she told him. It was the other way around. And I
Mm.
was sitting there thinking, like, what bugs did they have? Bed bugs? Like, like, you can tint a home to get rid of bed bugs, but the fact that they weren't paying rent is what really makes me feel
Yeah,
like
that's
the
true. That's
you
true.
you put your credit on the line. You already knew that you had bad credit, because I'm assuming he was going to try to help you fix your credit, and that's what he
Hmm.
kept holding over your head. And you are signing these leases and then you're not paying, and then you're
Hmm.
complaining to him because, like she said, the movers just threw my stuff. Yeah, because that's what an eviction is. You have not paid these people. Now the owner of this home has paid taxes on that house.
Hmm.
That owner of the home has now gone without their rental money, and now they're going to have to employ an attorney to get their money on the back end. So
So
I don't
I have a
know.
question. So when you get
Oh,
evicted, the people that evict you move you, or you still have to get a person to move you yourself. When I heard it, I
if
thought
you're
she had to
smart.
get a mover herself. I didn't know that they move you when you get evicted.
No, 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 no. If you're smart, you get that eviction notice, you get your ass on. You
Yeah,
have to
Okay.
get as
before they
much out
take
of
your
that
stuff and
house
auction it off. Yeah.
before they take it, before they auction it. But if you don't move, then you have to have a sheriff come and move all the stuff out, and then the owner of the home has to incur the expense of all these things. So
Uh,
Shirley, what happened was she probably hired some $2 movers who threw all their stuff
Hmm.
and just moved them to the next
okay. I
expensive
didn't
rental
understand
property.
that. Okay.
It was
Thank you
him
for
who was
saying.
saying he didn't like the bugs though, and I'm like,
Okay.
what, like the roaches, like Nini's house, the water bugs? What are we talking? Like, what kind of bugs make you move out of a
What would
mansion
make
that
you
you're not paying
move?
for? Technically, what are those people called who steal people's houses? Who say,
Squatters.
Squatters.
yeah, you've been
No.
squatters. You might have brought the bugs.
Yeah, you're right. What buzz could there have been where they couldn't just call Arkin? It kind of seems like he was just trying to come up with something to move because he knew that he couldn't afford this place he had moved her into. To me, it doesn't seem like he was
What if he
scamming.
told her? What if he told her we're not paying the rent until they fumigate it?
They
Fix
get rid
right.
of the
Yeah.
bugs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
It
did
Yeah.
he
That
tell
seems,
her
makes
that
sense.
at
yeah.
every location, at
Ding,
every
ding, ding. That
residence?
makes sense.
I don't know.
But
But
also,
everybody
this
jump in. Everybody jump in. We got Shauna, we got Mama Red, we got
Okay.
Star. Jump in.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
This is Shauna. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
Shawnee. We can hear you.
Hi. First, I want to say thank you, Mims, for all that you're doing. This is so awesome. I mean, I have been following you and everybody else on YouTube. I mean, ever since this story broke before the Carly Russell situation, it kind of died down when that came in. But I just want to say that I've been following the Steve Harvey Morning Show since he was in LA, him and Shirley in the 90s, believe it or not. And I feel that Shirley, she was married before to Michael Strawberry, the baseball player, not Daryl, but his brother. And he was abusive to her physically and mentally. She waited years, and I do mean years, before she started dating again. And the minute she started dating again, she gets introduced to this guy. This I don't even want to call him a man, because he's not. He's horrible. Um, and I think she really thought she had herself a good one because of all the things that he was probably doing for her while they were dating. And then, of course, this big surprise proposal and everything. And at first, when all this broke out and the phone calls started happening on the YouTube, what is it called?
Phone calls from prison.
Phone calls from prison. I shout out to them too.
I shout them out. I've shared their videos.
Yes.
I always think it's always important to cite your sources, right? So everybody is playing a part. All of the people who are investigating this stuff, everybody's playing their part in this.
Yes.
So it's always important to shout out your sources.
Yeah. And so when at first I really was feeling bad for her. I live on the West Coast. So I was up at like whatever time in the morning, listening to iHeartRadio at the apology and all of this, which I don't feel like she necessarily needed to do that. Yes, she knows the phone calls are being recorded, but I'm like her. I don't think she ever thought, I never knew that you can pay for these phone calls and put them out on YouTube like that. But I just think that Shirley, in listening to these 2022 calls, and I'm not giving her an excuse, but she just is really in love with this guy. She waited all of these years after being in a horrible marriage the first time with Sheridan's father, that she just really had hope that her husband was not doing the things that was being said that he was doing. Now, until I heard the call the other day where she said that he'd been in jail 3 times within the 8-year marriage. That's what made me say, okay, Shirley, you knew that this guy was doing a lot. You knew this guy was doing more than what maybe you cannot tell me you didn't have some kind of inkling that something was going on. And you haven't been in the barbershop? You haven't been downstairs seeing what's going on down there? Come on, Shirley. I'm 53, and I've been in some bad tumultuous relationships, and I have learned from them. And the minute I see a red flag, I'm done. Blocked. Don't call me. I'm done. And her being almost 70, is she 69? Almost 70, she should know better. Church lady or not, God is not going to leave you in the dark, and it shouldn't have taken this for her to realize what type of man she was dealing with. And I really feel like the only reason why now she's separating herself, obviously because of these phone calls, she's starting to hear the woman down here down in Florida, and all these things. And now she just begins to realize that she's really, really being used. Does she know what he was into? Yes. But I don't think she felt like she was being used until now.
Tom Girardi had a girlfriend too. See, there. I'm telling you, I'm seeing this is like a pattern here.
He's a con artist.
Well, you're good to see a pattern, Callie, because apparently they're saying that possibly she's not the only woman that he did this to. It wasn't even just the Ebony Steel woman, but there was another older woman before this that he didn't get married to, but he ran a scam on, pretty much the same. So when you hear this, that was the other thing that I say. Everyone's quick to say, oh, Shirley's too old. She's too long in the tooth. She's too, she should know better. And we all think that we should, but I had to take a step back and say, well, we so old and wise. Why is it that the senior community is the ones that are getting scammed the most? Why are
The
those the
most.
ones that
Yeah.
are targeted the most? Why are those that fall victim the most once they get older to all kinds of scams because they're vulnerable. They don't know technology. Like, oh, well, I would have got a private eye. You hear on the darn divorce decree from his other wife in 2001 talking about she looked for him on MySpace in 2001. Hello? Like, people aren't as adept as you think that they are. You know what I mean? So I just thank God that I hear other people's pitfalls so I don't fall into them myself. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to judge them for the mistakes that they made, because she can't be just so quote unquote stupid and dumb and gullible and this, that, and the third. Yeah, we all have questions as to why and how. To me, it sounds like she's busy. All right. Think about it. Some of these phone calls, we're all assuming, oh, she sees Steve Harvey every day. They must be bosom buddies. Now we hear they ain't seen each other in 3 years. The
Yeah.
morning show's not even taped in the morning, it's taped at night. You know what I mean? So things that
Yes.
you think that you
Yeah,
know,
it's like
you
a
don't
Zoom call,
know.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So everything that you think that you know is not how it is. And then even on one of the phone calls, he's admitting, hey, my wife don't know how to do that stuff. You know what I mean? She don't know nothing about that. So that's why I
Yes.
have this one doing this and she's doing that. And you hear sometimes when she answers the phone, what? Do what? Huh? Well, hold on. Then you hear the other people call and talking about, well, I'm calling her. It feels weird. I don't know why she's being so cheap. Why she can't just put the money on phone? Because she's not giving him not another red cent. You know what I mean? So when you listen to all the ins and outs of the little things that's being said, she's starting to get it.
I want to
It
I
point
took
have
out
a
a
that
long
Autumn's
time, I
question.
mom.
will admit that.
I want to point out that Autumn's
Mm.
mom. I feel like you feel like you have maybe known. Could somebody mute their television?
All the ins and outs of the little things.
I don't know whose it is, but I feel like you have a soft spot for Shirley, and I think that it's good that there are people out there like you who do, right? Because we've seen
Mhm,
a Shirley, we've been a Shirley, um, and nobody's infallible. I do think that older people are targeted. A lot of times they have a lot of expendable money, right? Like after you are retired and stuff like that, a lot of them do have expendable money. Some of them are on tighter budgets, but even then, I do feel like they're targeted, like what Jen Shaw was doing to people. Somebody
mhm.
had a question. Was that
I
Jocelyn
did.
Hernandez?
Yes, I had a
Okay.
question. This is for Autumn's mom. What's up,
You sound
chat?
different, Jocelyn.
I know it's some hormones and it's out of there. But this is for you, Autumn's mom. Where is the accountability coming into play with Shirley Strawberry? It seems like you can be as empathetic and sympathetic for her, but this is the same lady that's giving her advice to those who ask for it for similar
Mhm,
situations that they put themselves in, that they may have had background information on or not. It
mhm,
seems as though she willingly turned a blind eye to
mhm,
some of the red flags.
mhm.
And again,
Okay.
that's why when we previously talked, she kind of knew what kind of man she was dealing with when she's, I'm not gonna say stole him away from Ebony Still, but again, when because they were being talked to at the same time or courted around the same time. So she kind of, I just think we can give grace, but in giving grace, we have to. It's not being judgmental, but it's coming in with some type of love to let her know we gotta sit you down, baby, because.
Jocelyn,
Mhm.
That was not expected.
you just called this
From
woman Portia.
I
You
mean,
just called this woman
I
Portia.
mean, in so many
I
words,
thought I was hearing things.
I mean, in so many words, in so many words. But I'm,
well, let me
but she
say
wants
this.
people
For
to
one,
marry
you
though.
guys are assuming that for number one, apparently when he met her, she was living in LA. She didn't live in Atlanta. So she might not have what I'm trying to say is she might not have known this Ebony Steele person and who he was dating. I don't think that is what we need to be focused on at
They
this point.
shared the
So if I take this part
they
out,
shared the
and
same
I also
hairdresser.
don't think that any woman can steal a man from anybody else. And as we can see, he damn sure wasn't a prize. So if she should have left him there. Now, as far as
But
the
they were in the
accountability,
same. We're in the
just because
same
you're in
work.
the same field with people, just because you're in the same field doesn't mean you know everything. Especially if I'm based out of now LA and you're in Atlanta, that has nothing to do with me. I don't know who you're dating. Like, I know people think that, but it's not exactly how it works. Number two, I will give you this. I'm not excusing Shirley for everything. That I'm not doing. Yes, she should have done more. Period. Obviously, she should have done more. Had she done more, she would not be in the situation that she's in now. Should she have listened to her friends? Has she should have gotten an investigator? Should she have done this? Has she should have done that? Yes. Now, when I come on, it's not just that I have a soft spot, Mims, for Shirley Strawberry. I just always I need things to make sense to me. How could somebody so smart do something that seems so not smart? You know what I
Because
mean? So,
she was lonely, and she was, I'm not gonna call her old, but she was more mature. And so it was out of desperation, but in desperation.
Well, hold on. Oh, hold on. So
But I also think
somebody
this
just
man was
gave us
giving her money.
somebody just gave us some information that I'm gonna have to really look into it and deep dive. But we're finding out that Shirley was a victim of physical abuse. Was that
Mhm.
Diamond
this
or that was
this
Shauna?
that was
Hold
Shauna.
on.
That was
Is
me,
that, are you
Shauna.
Shauna? Okay, so
Yes,
Shauna
that
gave us a,
and this
hold
was
on one
something
second.
that she
Shauna,
talked
hold
about.
on, hold
I'm
on one
sorry.
second.
Mhm.
So Shauna gave us something else to, like, it's another piece to the puzzle. So, we've just, a lot of times when we see these celebrities, we think they have the money, they have whatever, they have connections to get this and get that. But when you hear somebody who has been through physical abuse, raised their child, is still taking care of their child, working every day, working well into, her 60s, because she's 63, it does add another element to the puzzle. And I hope that we're looking at that,
Yeah.
like, if you've been in an abusive situation, who knows what you're willing to take from the next person who promises you that they won't be that, or I'm going to fix your credit, I'm going to do everything for you that, your original
and you're
husband
a
didn't.
private person, and they know you're a private person, so you're not going to tell everybody what's going on. And then he snuck in and came in as like a thief in the night and was like, it's like me and you against the world. You can, like, if you listen to these latest phone calls, I've been telling you about your friends, I've been telling you they're no good. And she was defending her friends at first, but then when he was setting her up for what was about to come, so when it came, she wouldn't be surprised. You see what I'm saying? That's how con artists work, is what I'm saying. I just know con
He's a
artists,
con artist.
people can get taken over by them, and it doesn't mean that that is something wrong with you, because if that was the case, there wouldn't be millions of people scammed. You
I
know what
hear
I mean?
that,
I
but
just
I'll
think
Hold,
it's
just
just
say
hold on one
this.
easier to.
second. Hold on one second. Really quick, guys. Thank you so much. Worry about yourself for the super chat. They just said, "Hey, Mims." Somebody asked who Martha was. Martha is his actual wife up until December 29th of 2021. Shout out to Chronicle Speaks, who pulled all the records. So what we have already discussed is Shirley Strawberry was never technically really married, because he was always married to the real Mrs. Williams, and that did not end
Oh, that was
until
my question.
December 29th, 2021. So we got some new people on the panel. We got Mama Red. I don't think you've had a chance yet.
I wanted to jump in too, Mims. I haven't, but I'll let her go ahead.
Who was that? I can't see the names.
Star.
It's who?
Star.
Oh, Shauna. Wait, Star.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see who was first. Mama Red was first, but then
Go ahead.
I'll jump to you, Star.
Okay.
Star can go ahead. Go ahead, Star.
Look at this, being nice to one
Oh
another.
no, it's go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Either
You want me
one.
to go? Okay. Well, I just wanted to say first off, I want to know how much in ties was Miss Shirley paying, because I'm still a little bit lost of how she doesn't have any coins. She's been on a nationally syndicated radio show since the 90s.
Mhm.
Right.
What, there's something wrong with that within itself. So where are your coins?
Wait,
And then secondly, hold on. Then secondly, Mims, you I watched your what you posted the other day about the daughters. I
Mhm.
really want to know like, you said all of these amazing things about the daughter. I think she's like a scientist and all of this stuff.
Mhm.
That adds another piece to the puzzle for me because I don't know how much he was in those kids' lives, but I mean, we seen a picture with them. So to me, that just adds another layer of like, with
I can
all
tell
these
you that he was not.
allegations, he
I I
wasn't.
I look. I mean, what is crazy is people put a lot of information out with actually not knowing they didn't put a lot of information out. He
Hmm.
credits Shirley for getting him reconnected with his children.
But
Now
see,
I know
even
his
that,
son worked for him as a barber in that barber shop, but when he said that, I'm assuming he means the girls.
but see, even that says a lot, right?
Hmm.
Because what was that relationship like? Well, all of these allegations about, the essay, all of that. Well, how was he with his own daughters? To me, that makes me think about that. And I was feeling bad for Shirley at first, but now, like the last person was saying, she's not slow. She's not dumb. Not only that, she's around several people with a lot of resources. In those phone calls, yeah, she was trying to like play it as if she didn't know how to do this or do that. She's not a dumb woman. She's been doing what she's been doing for way too long to be dumb and act as if she doesn't know. And furthermore, remember, she went on her strawberry letter and said that her friend introduced her to him. So where is that friend? And what did that friend tell you about this man when he or she made the introduction?
And there's
What
I.e.
the
if it?
plot
Steve,
What if it
twist.
was the?
i.e. Steve
What if it was
Harvey.
the hairstylist? What if it was the?
Exactly. But I still think it was Steve. I think Steve told her to clear the issue up.
Mm-hmm.
I
Cause now,
think it
cause
was a
now you got my
friend. I
sister
think it
Mm,
was
saying,
a friend that knew what Ernesto was up to. I
that's what
believe
I
it was
think
someone
too.
that knew what he was up to. Forget this other DJ, Ebony. Let's get with Shirley. She's got a bigger name. She's got a bigger platform. She knows more people. We can
mm,
get this scam going.
is it
Get
like
with her.
Candy and Todd's movie? Is that where they got the storyline?
But
Yes.
okay,
The
but here's the
past.
problem with all of
Yes.
that. I'm not really
Because it
hearing
only
any
seems like a
evidence that
scam that
he
Todd
took
set
her
up.
money.
So maybe they were all in it together. Because
They
I mean, let's
probably
be
were.
clear. Shirley is not a bad looking woman.
No.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, that man, he's not the worst looking, right?
Come on.
So
Erica King was living next door. Come on.
But she did not look the way that she looked in that mugshot. So when everybody sits there and be like, "Oh, that woman was at your Thanksgiving dinner table," I wouldn't have known the two was the same. I've been like, "Who's
That
Erica?
looks like a different person.
I thought
okay,
the
so
same
Yeah,
thing.
Who's Erica?"
that looks like a
We
different
all thought
I'm
the
person.
same
actually
thing.
going. I'm actually going to go ahead and hire a face analyst and add them to the registry with the two PIs because I don't want to have that debate. I don't.
I
it
have
was
a
it was
Well,
just an
question.
she's a
opinion.
con woman, so maybe she can just change her look at the. I mean, there are people out here that are really, really good at scamming people. My only thing with this is that, from what I'm able to deduce from this, I don't see where Shirley got scammed.
yeah, me either. She, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
to your point, all her videos, they're in like the nicest labels and the nicest car. So to me, it was an upgrade for her.
So you don't think what did we say in the memes? How many evictions was it? And the
5.
fact that the cars end up getting repoed after he went to jail, your
No,
But the
disillusion of
cars
all your
wasn't in.
families and friends, and
It
no
was
money in the
total
bank account
everything.
after he go to jail. That's not getting scammed.
But it
And
doesn't
then
sound
he
like she
used it.
had money
But
when she met him.
okay, but
That's the
listen to this. Listen
So
to this.
okay, how about
Listen
this,
to this.
Autumn? Ignorance of the law is not an excuse, right? So
right.
Right.
let's say that you are, living the high life and you're just not asking any questions. Like we're supposed to assume about Erica Girardi. We're supposed to assume that she never asked questions and she just spent the money. At the end of the day, you have to give the stuff up because ignorance is not an excuse. Like Phaedra
But
in
that's why she
Apology.
didn't go down there to pick up that truck. Remember, he kept trying to get her to go back down there to pick up the truck. Like,
hmm
oh, they got to release it. Oh, just go get. She ain't go down there to pick up that truck. She was like, well, they came and got it. It is what it is. So she said, if they want to come get my ring, they could just come get that too. So
I
she
would have
never
thought something
said,
was going on after
I gotta
the
right.
read
first 2 evictions.
I gotta read
So if
these
it was
super
all
chats
about
really
money, then
quickly.
she'd have been like, let me
And,
hide stuff.
and then I think that was Diamond speaking. Just
I
really,
think
really
she
quickly.
still
Gigi
is
Parker.
hiding stuff,
It says,
to
"Hey,
be
Mims, I
honest.
caught it live. Shirley was open and vulnerable, but she was weak and did not protect herself or family. That family stuff I haven't even like dived into on this channel yet. But we will. I'm a little nervous because they be demonetizing my stuff. I was even nervous to put up all of his charges just because they were pretty bad. Thank you, Gigi.
Mims get,
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Mhm.
Gabor, remember, a ninja in jail is an unalive ninja. Rest in peace. Are we talking about Tory Lane?
No, he's talking about this one. He's gonna be there a
Oh,
long
No,
time.
he's saying like people that got
Yeah,
these
he's
big football
unalive.
numbers,
Yeah,
they unalive. Like they gone.
oh. Well,
you know
because
he
Tory
always
just
says
got
his
put.
famous saying.
Tory just got put
Yeah.
into prison where people are being, unalived by other inmates. So that was a news story. So I don't know if
And
you
his
saw
Isn't
that.
that
mugshot is
every prison?
trash.
And then Dr. Pat says, thank you, Gabor. Dr. Pat said Shirley was financially successful, allowed him to enter her life with these fast business deals. He's a swindler. She was the mark. I didn't expect that from you, Dr. Pat. Basically, she was stupid and followed her heart instead of her mind. So Dr. Pat,
Amen. I agree with that. That's
He's
what
a
I
But
con
you
agree.
guys,
artist.
okay, I understand what you guys are saying, but from what
hold
I
on,
am
Callie.
reading,
I
it sounds like she
cut
didn't
some.
have any
Callie,
money.
hold on 1 second. I cut somebody off. Was that Diamond Eats?
Oh yes.
Okay, yeah, jump in. You guys. This is an open panel, so if you're new to the channel, like the video. We have like 1,000 people in here. I'm sure we only got 200 likes. Also, subscribe. I do these open panels so that everybody can come up and really kind of like, whether you agree with me, disagree, state your case and have these conversations. So everybody else jump in. The regular members of the family, Autumn and Callie, and we know how to throw a bow to get so jump in, people. Diamond, jump in.
So the two things I was saying was, one, after the second eviction, I would have been like, wait, hold up, what's going on? Because obviously you don't like paying bills on time or paying bills at all in this case. And then secondly, I remember you saying something before, or actually on one of the recordings that he had with the other female, he was saying something about her daughter. I have kids, and if my child is grown or a little kid, if they don't like the person I'm with, I'm gonna find out why. Like, I want to know, what was her daughter saying to her about him, or what was the reason that the daughter did not like him? Because that will also make me be like, maybe I should look into this a little bit more. Or did she bring you any type of receipts and say something and you just ignored it?
What if it was something just as simple as he was tired of Shirley paying the daughter's bills and the daughter knew it? Like maybe he was tightening Shirley's purse strings for her own
For
child.
him, that makes
And
sense.
that was the original issue between them. Because if my mama is paying my stuff and now all of a sudden she meets you, the Tindler swindler, and all of a sudden you can't do what you used to do, I would have a problem with you too. Not to mention, he just sounds creepy. And he actually speaks like he has like a 2nd to 3rd grade education. Like, and
Like
now all of a
he's been
sudden
in
my
jail
mom
his
is
whole life.
Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me you can't pay my bills, but you're driving around in a Rolls Royce and y'all just keep moving from mansion to mansion. I bet you that played a part in it.
That's a good point,
Ma'am, did
because
you ever verify
when
how old the daughter
Shirley
was?
got proposed to, her daughter helped set that up. Of course,
Correct.
she was much younger then. She helped set that up. So you have a great point on that, because I do believe that that was the thing. He was tightening up on Shirley's purse strings, not wanting her to keep paying that rent. And I think I heard that in one of the calls where he said, well, I know you're just going to keep on, paying that rent. I think he said something to the lady down there in Florida, Sanya, whatever her name is, saying, oh, she's just going to keep on paying that B's rent and blah, blah. She hates me, blah, blah, this. So, yeah, you have a great point on that one. The daughter, I believe, is upset because he was trying to stop her mother from paying the bills.
And see, we're on the outside looking in. Daughter's on
Absolutely.
the inside looking in. She can see what her mama can't see because she's blind to the
But
fact.
chooses
So
not
what
to see.
she's seeing is not that he's taking money away from her, but that he's taking money away from her mom. Not
Correct.
just to to her to pay rent. But all
Yes.
the other ventures that he's brought to Shirley that has failed, that is the issue. And when you're dealing with a woman who has been through abuse, I went through abuse. When you're getting back into a relationship after years of being out of one, you still have that mentality of, let me say the right thing, let me do the right thing, let me not piss him off, because you saw how his whole, you remember how she said, the girl Sonya said, you have different versions of yourself. And we saw the sneak peek of the different versions when he got frustrated with her in that phone call. His whole tone changed. He did not sound like mush mouth guy that
Not
he
much
was.
mouth.
He sounded, his anger in him, like, you better check yourself, but he couldn't check her because he in jail.
He
So,
needs her. He
I don't
needs
feel
her.
Hold
sorry
on,
for Shirley.
really
Sorry
quickly.
for Shirley
To
in that.
respond to what you're saying, one of his things is trafficking. So I would not be surprised if he, there are certain strategies that traffickers use to kind of like
to
mind
break them
F people.
down. Yeah.
Right. So you go from nice to angry when technically you don't have a pot to piss in, you're in jail.
Yeah, and you
But
need that money to keep being put on your books.
Yeah.
But is it fair to say that the daughter?
Hold on, guys. Really quick. I got some super chats. Gabor's on the panel now. Thank you, Gabor. He said the victims ain't leaving me broke. I don't care.
They ain't.
Gabor is an Eric James fan.
I'm telling you right now, if I was at the barbershop and if the laws had me trapped, I'm riding through the cars. We driving through the cars. Who?
Gabor's an
Y'all
Eric
ain't taking
James
this.
fan, and he also likes the movie Set It Off. Cynthia Anderson, thank you for the super chat. I read in an interview where the scientist's daughter said her father died when she was young, so Ernesto, her stepfather. Now, send me that interview. Because who would that make her mom? Mary Williams? Like, who would this? Send me that interview. Make it make sense now. DM me.
Do we have the right Ernesto?
So there's a Mary and a Martha.
People.
What are you talking about?
Like,
as
do
her
we
father?
know for sure that this
Yes.
is the same man?
Yes, Ernesto is her father, and he actually took an active role in having pictures and stuff with her. So part of her website, you'll see him with like images and stuff where he was with the photographer, and yes, it's the same guy. It's hard to believe because she's so intelligent and he's so dumb though. But thank you, Cynthia Anderson. Send me that interview. I'll check that out. We got one more.
Oh, go ahead.
J.A. says, what makes y'all think Ernesto was telling Shirley the truth about everything? Go listen to the calls, people. Shirley asks questions and Ernesto fast talks her and lies to her. Definitely. I think we can all agree that
he admitted that.
he was exhibiting some signs of control over her. We definitely all agree to that. I think what people are saying is that she should have
had a crystal ball and seen through the lies that he was telling, even though she was in love with him.
From what I heard on the phone calls, it seems like.
Hold on one second, Gabor. We gotta call it like we gotta be straight shooters around here. You're having a call saying this is your third time. This isn't the way you move around town.
Yeah.
Meaning that you have some indication that he, is doing these shady things.
Exactly.
He's the one with the money, but you're signing all of the leases and y'all are not paying. And you're having to sell your home at a $500,000.
Is it a coincidence? I think not.
It seems like that.
I mean, Mims, let me just say this. Can we agree that, if you're not paying your bills, it's not a shock to me that you would get arrested for maybe a bounce check, okay, which was the original thing that he told her he was arrested for. You know what I mean? So if you go to jail for that bounce check that I could see that perhaps you might have written, then I'm going to stand by you. But if I'm not listening to the Zoom calls when you go in there and hear about these additional charges that are coming up out afterwards, you know what I mean? And he's telling you, oh, it's some other stuff. I'm just saying, she obviously knew her husband wasn't good with money and things was bad. So she probably wasn't surprised when, say, a charge of fraudulent whatever. She was okay with that. But it's the other stuff that extra stuff that now it's like, wait, I didn't know that was the person that you are. There's a big difference between financial crimes and the P word, you know what I mean, and the R word and trafficking and all that other stuff. Those are two different lanes, you know what I mean?
But he gives me from the phone calls that I heard, it gives a little Ike Turner vibe because it seems like even
Yes.
over the phone,
Mhm.
she wasn't trying to get him upset. You
That's
know,
what I'm saying. You still have that mentality. And now he
Right.
kind of cleared her when he was talking to Son. He was like, my wife don't know what I do.
Exactly.
Thank you.
There you go.
This is Ernesto with the scientist's daughter. This is Davia.
Okay.
So yeah, it is his daughter,
Okay.
but I don't know if he's the stepfather or what, but they are definitely.
Well, they look alike, but she's
Did
pretty.
anyone notice in the phone calls?
Yeah, no, she looks like
Wait,
him.
Yeah,
did
she
anyone
do.
notice in
Yeah.
the phone calls he made a mention to a quote unquote Cynthia, and that's what they did to Cynthia's husband. But you see, they got out of it. He didn't have, he had all kinds of bad checks out there, and they came from that, but they tried to pile on. Why did I think he was talking about Peter? Anybody else
Ooh.
pick that up in the phone calls?
I mean, it's possible
That he was
Yeah.
comparing
Not
himself.
impossible.
That
He
he was
had
comparing
Yeah.
himself to
medicine at
Peter
the
and
barbershop, so he probably knows scamming Peter too. All of them know
And
each
you
other.
know that they said that Eva's husband was in the shop, the Married to Medicine Men were in the shop.
Right.
So when I heard that part and he was saying Cynthia, and you see what they did to her husband, and they was trying to put all kinds of charges on him, but he was able to keep his restaurants and his businesses after
Those
whatever. So
restaurants have
he's
since
trying to
closed.
give her
I think
instances
about
where people were saying stuff about people, and it came out to be as though they were cleared. So at that point, remember Peter had gone through stuff, but it looked like he came out of it and he was able to keep his bar ones or whatever.
No,
Now
but
it's a different story. It's closed, but at that time it wasn't. So I really was thinking, anybody else hear that?
Wow.
I heard it. I didn't
wow.
put two and two together, but yeah.
I did hear that.
I heard it. I didn't put it. I didn't think
Oh,
about
Shirley.
that Cynthia.
Mm.
I
But
don't
I
know
mean,
how Shirley can be so
He has
slow with all
apparently
these
taken
people
into
around her with these resources.
she's
Though.
choosing to. That's what I'm
Tommy
saying.
like CB, I don't believe that she was that slow. I
It's
I
honestly,
it's
don't
the choice.
I
either.
don't. I
Choosing
really
Like
I don't
don't.
either.
how are you around Steve Harvey and he took all of these falls, came back up, took these falls, came back up, and you still your credit still ain't right at the age of 69? What are we
Why do you
doing?
guys think that that's
I think
not possible? Why
I
do you
think that
guys
she
think
didn't want
that
to
just
pay.
because people make a lot of money that they keep a lot of money? All you need is a couple
I think
bad
it's because
investments. The
she's
pandemic
been
happened.
consistently
You take
working.
care of a couple too many people that you
No.
shouldn't. You know what I mean?
No,
Look
Pay
at
that
look at
credit
I
look
could
at
look at
No.
Shirley
look
face.
at a lot of people
I
that
could look
had
at
an
Shirley.
excess of money that lost it. So I'm
I could
just
look at
saying.
Shirley. I could
So
look at Shirley face and say and tell you that she didn't want to. She just was happy to have a piece of man. She just didn't
Exactly.
want to pass away
exactly,
alone.
Buffet girl.
exactly. That's it, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. She wanted a
No, I
piece of
get that part.
me.
I do agree with you, Gabor, with what you just said, but I'm just talking about her money. People like, oh, what happened to her money, this, that, and the third.
She
Just
was
because you work in
I
radio doesn't
wanna.
mean that you made
You
that
don't
much.
have to
All you
have the
need,
probably the same
resources
thing that happened
around
with
you
Monique
and not
money. And now
We
learn
got to
from
do
it.
one at a time. Only if you don't mind, one at a time, people.
I think she was overextended before all of this whole situation came up into play, before he even got into play. And then again, he was trying to make money with the money she had, and that's why it was what it was. But again, we can't get over the fact, we can't gloss over the fact that again that she denied what was going on and was trying to have glossy eyes with the situation. She chose
I
to.
wanted to try.
And she
I
liked the
wanted to
lifestyle.
chime
Look at
in.
that face. Look at
Exactly.
This
that
man
face.
was arrested 3 times, you guys. They were
but this
evicted
man
multiple
also had
times.
several different women, guys. Remember that. Let's not think that
No, but
Shirley's the
she
only one that fell
knew
for this.
he
We're
had
not.
But
been arrested three
It's not
times.
even about the
I'm
women.
saying
It's
all
about
the other
her.
women knew it too, and they were younger than her. Let's think about that. Erica's younger. The chick in Florida, Sonia, she's younger. All these women are falling for his lies too. So there's,
Sonia is a low down dirty monkey in a wig. I
so
don't
I
like
Yes.
her.
think that he just got one of them gifts, the gabs that we can't hear on these phone calls that went with the the luxury cars that he was renting out and the facade that he was putting on. And maybe he had a gentles. I don't know what it was. Maybe the D was, I don't know, but whatever it was, let's not forget Shirley was not the only woman that was scammed by him. She's
But
not.
if she has found love in a prison
But
bay,
here's the
I am
thing.
all the way here for
Do
her.
we have any, like, because I don't have all the details, is there any proof that he was scamming her? Or was she just with this man who was scamming people?
Exactly.
He definitely was scamming her. I don't think nobody should think that that is not the case. You hear this woman sitting here, and I'm not just saying because she's quoting God or because she's praying for him. You start hearing her saying, yeah, well, I don't know. Why would they do that to you? And I'm just a little confused. Somebody that knew all the details, and this is before we get to the most outrageous charges yet. We don't hear no phone calls yet once these other serious things come into play. But we do
Her
start
eyes was
hearing
wide
her.
shut. Her eyes was wide shut
Well,
on
if you
phone.
Correct.
notice, every
You
time
start,
she would
but what?
ask a question, he would laugh it off.
Yeah,
And
the
well,
laughing was
I
pissing
don't
me
want
off
to
because
talk about
that
this on this phone. They recording everything. I don't
right.
trust these people.
That's what I'm
So
saying. She knew she was being
She was
recorded, so
happy,
we can't believe everything she says.
and she was
That's
happy.
just a
She was
fact.
feeling herself. Did you hear what she said about the lady who was trying to be a second mother to her daughter? Talking about that
Being
she went to a
jealous, yeah.
party and they were saying, you know, oh, you really 68. Oh my God, you really 68. She was like, yeah, I just look like this. You know, they was all in my. She was
Hmm.
feeling herself.
Really feeling herself.
Well, she
And
looked good. She
I
furthermore,
would.
did.
though,
She looked.
furthermore,
She
though,
looked good for 69.
someone
She's
said that
63.
Oh,
someone said that she just act like
no,
she didn't
she's
know. She was
69.
asking him questions.
I looked
But
it up.
she also was on the phone saying, we'll talk about it more, honey, when you get out. That sounds like somebody who knows what they're saying on the call and they know they can't say too much more and she needs to talk to him
Mm-hmm.
when they get
What?
out. She
Because every
knows.
time she
damn.
tried to
No,
go further, he kept shutting her down and say, we
no,
can't
that's
talk
not
too
it.
much on the phone.
She needed to talk to him
Oh,
about stuff that she knows more about not on there because she knew it was being recorded.
If
Shirley
the
ain't
laws,
dumb.
really quickly. Hold on, really quickly, because now I see why there's confusion. I've heard 69 and 63. She has multiple bios. So one bio says she was born
she's
July 28th, 1960, which would make her 63 years old. Her other bio says July 28th, 1954, which would make her 69
how
years
old
old.
is Steve? She
She's
said that she was.
older than
69.
Steve.
She
She's
said that she was 3
69.
years older than Steve.
And
Her
Steve is
social
66.
age is 63. You
Steve
see what I'm
Harvey
saying? Like
is
my husband asked me because my birthday's
66.
coming up.
So I
How
guess
old
she
are
is
you gonna be?
69.
Because he
Yeah,
knows
she's
She's
I say
69.
69.
She's
I'm
She
when she
said it
said
on
that
that
Steve
strawberry letter when she apologized. She's
yeah,
69. She's 3
Yeah,
years
but
older
yeah.
than
older
Steve
than Steve,
Harvey.
because she said when Steve was
yeah,
breathing hard on the stairs, she said, well, I'm 3 years older than Steve.
yeah, she
Right.
did.
Correct.
So I
And then
see
if you
where the
go back to the
confusion came in
articles that were written
her
up, it
bio.
tells you how old she was when she got married and stuff like that. So she's 69.
That's what I
Okay.
said.
For
So
Look at her
70,
solving mysteries.
for 70, she looked damn good for 70.
She
Yeah.
does
Yeah,
look good,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
you know you gotta laugh for social media.
especially in that Rolls Royce that was actually Erica King's.
She looked good
That's
for
the
70, but
thing.
I could see 59 in her face though. But she do
Erica.
look good for
Oh my
70.
God, Gabor.
I could see 59.
Erica King is the one who actually had this car service. So when you're seeing like Ernesto roll around in all of his Bentleys and Rolls Royces, and Erica's right there with him.
But what
It's
about
just-
that lady? Who was that lady in the car with him? She looked like she was a hostage.
She
Like,
Yeah.
did. She
you
looked
better
zoned out or
say
whatever.
this, because
of
she
her-
was looking around like, where am I? Like she was drugged or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's
She
going
said
on
she was
here?
going to quit her job on Monday to
Yeah,
work
that
for
was
him.
just weird to me.
Yes.
Can I say one more thing? Oh, now all of a sudden I see these stories about what supposedly was going on in the barbershop.
Oh,
Speaking to somebody who dated somebody that owned a barbershop back in the day, I never went down there. What am I doing at a barbershop with a bunch of men? Let alone downstairs in the back room where supposedly all this facetiousness is going on. So to think that Shirley knew about some
Hey, T.
back room
Christine.
antics going on in the barbershop, I didn't know what was going on in the front of the barbershop. As long as the money came out of the barbershop is all I cared about.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
Autumn
that's
has a
totally
chef,
I,
y'all.
reasonable.
Autumn's mom has a chef.
I'm
welcome
trying to
to
understand
Mim, don't be telling my business.
You told it.
I know, not on your channel though.
I'm confused when Shirley said that she was at the beauty shop and the police had her trapped in her car. She said it was a law in front of her car and outside of her car. And when she talked to him that day, she was like, "They think you're some type of monster. They was really telling me you don't know who you. If they come and take my car from the beauty shop, you are a monster. I'm believing everything they say." But I would have begged them people, please let me drive home. Please let me drive home. I would have told them, "Laws, don't do me like that. Please don't do me like this in front of the people. I do the strawberry letter.
Yeah.
Don't do me that. I'll give you everything you need.
I do the strawberry letter.
I need full fucking immunity. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I need immunity. I'll tell you everything you need."
I wanted to chime in regards to
chime in. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in regards to Shirley's money issues and kind of like my thought process behind that. I remember when the Steve Harvey morning show first started, like when it got re-syndicated, and it was like in the middle of the 2000s, like 2005, 2006, that era. It originally didn't include Shirley. It had another lady, Jackie Reed or something, and she left the show. I think she sued Steve Harvey, and then I think she was on the show for like 2 years or something like that. And then that's when Shirley came in, and Shirley like immediately started. It seemed like she was on hold and wasn't doing anything at that point in time because she immediately like came and joined the morning show with Steve immediately after Jackie left. So I'm assuming if that's the case, she joined like 2008, 2009. And the person I draw a comparison to is Angela Yee, because that's around the time the Breakfast Club started. And she said that when she started on that show, she was making around $50,000 a year when she joined, because it was like a new show that wasn't like fully syndicated at the time. So if Angela Yee was making around $50,000 in New York City, I'm assuming that Shirley was making that amount or less.
Steve Harvey morning show is
had more of a name.
show. Is the top
Yes,
show.
it is.
They are the number one.
But I'm talking about at the time.
Just to correct you, sweetheart,
when she started,
has been with Steve Harvey since the 90s. She has never not been on the show.
Yes, she was. No, you can look that up because I remember listening in.
And she only had 4 shows.
He was initially, I think, in LA or whatever he was. The show got canceled, and then he came back with a new cast. It was his nephew. There was another anchor person, Jackie, and then it was like Tommy playing another character, Eugene. And they had the show, and they would do like the comedy pranks and the phone calls and all that stuff. And I do remember Steve, like every weekend he was like hustling, doing a show in every like Atlantic City. He was doing like his stand-up show, Recurring Money After Money. And like a few years later, that's when Shirley came on the new show, the like re-syndicated show. See, even he said that his morning show was canceled
in 2000, and remained a co-host until the show was canceled in 2005.
Yeah, she's been with him.
No, but what she's saying is she's talking about the second show. That's what she's talking about. There was a break before he got a second show.
Yeah. Yeah, you could probably check when she joined a new show, because I remember like Shirley came on like a few years after, because the person that they had was Jackie Reed. It wasn't Shirley Strawberry. But anyways, yeah.
Jackie's don't take nothing.
Yeah, so my point was that if they both, let's assume that Shirley started like 2008, 2009, she would have been probably making around the same amount as Angela Yee was, and maybe a little bit more, especially since they're in different markets at the time. And the show, like the morning show, wasn't that big at that time, from my recollection.
So you're relating it to us thinking that her being on the show made her independently wealthy, and you're saying
yes,
that maybe she didn't make as much as we thought.
Yeah, and I mean, Angela Yee just said that she just bought a house.
But she also But she just bought a house, but she also has an apartment building. She has a juice bar.
I was gonna say
Like
she owns
But
a
she
Angela,
business.
said,
Yeah.
but she
And
said that she had to learn that individually. Like she started to get
before,
into investments
no, but
and
she was on the
expanding
radio
out.
before then, though, too. She was a
mm-hmm.
part of whose show? Because Envy came from Miss Jones in the
Yes, she
morning.
did.
But
Charlamagne
Mm-hmm.
came
she
from
said it.
Wendy, and then she came from.
But
Uh,
look, Angela Yee even said it on her own when she was leaving the Breakfast Club. She was talking about her career, and she said when she joined the Breakfast Club, she was making like $50,000, which was less than she was making
make it
previously, and she
previously
wasn't sure.
correct, but that was for that
Yeah.
start of that new. Because I think she came from Hot 97. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
I think
Well,
Angela
I
came
mean,
from Hot too.
technically, what happened with that was Charlamagne wasn't even supposed to be a part of that. They just kind of threw those people together because Envy had, Miss Jones in the morning had imploded. Charlamagne was actually supposed to be doing a show with Jason Lee and Claudia Jordan. They had already started doing stuff like that, and he just jumped ship from them and went and did the Breakfast Club. So I could see them trying this out with people who don't technically really know each other, never really worked together. Charlamagne was also, Wendy Williams.
Sidekick. Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. Shock jock. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I can
that
see
was in
them
the
all
After
shock
Artie
taking
jock
left,
some major
Yeah.
pay cuts. But let's be honest, y'all. When you think, let's say she was making $300,000. After you pay your taxes at that tax bracket, after you pay your managers, your PR,
did she
it's
have
not
anything?
like a
A
whole ton of
lawyer.
money to live at, to live at the
And
level.
honestly,
I
I don't
thought
know
Shirley
her doing
Strawberry was a
anything else.
lawyer.
No, she's not.
Oh, I found
Do
it.
you get what I'm
I
saying?
found it, ma'ams.
It's not a ton
But
of
why
money.
do you think she was a lawyer not knowing nothing about the darn system?
I read. Well, look, I don't think she was as innocent as y'all claim that she was. But
I don't
No,
I
she
either.
don't know
read
nothing
when I
about
looked
no
her up.
law.
When y'all told me that Shirley Strawberry, I had never heard of her before. When I looked her up, I thought they said that she was a lawyer because I wanted to
Mims, I'm
know
gonna send this to your
what was
DM.
so great about her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mary
no,
Kelly,
she's not a
thank
lawyer.
you. Thank you so much. Mary says she's still communicating with him after these charges. Now I'm really side-eyeing Shirley. She knew something. No, we do not think that she is still communicating with
We need to find out
Ernesto.
when she stopped.
The video, I mean, the calls that we are getting are all from 2022. Technically, I don't know how, and I have somebody working on this. I don't know how long of a window you need to actually get a call. So these calls are all from last year. So if it's like a 6-month window, that would make sense. But these people are not stopping. We're getting 2 to 3 calls a day at this point.
Yes.
It's hard
Well, they
to
released
keep
some
up.
Guys,
calls all the way up. There was another station, and they released calls up to recently, and they show that everyone's pretty much blocked him. Then
Yep.
no one's picking up his calls, and those that are is because he has either made them with the money from his commissary for like a quick 5-minute phone call, or he's getting free promotional calls. I guess they give them X amount of calls just to say what he needs to say. So recently, everybody is ghosting him.
Yes.
There's no
what
Tavares. There's
divorce?
no
They're
reason
not
to get.
married.
Hold on one second, Callie. There's no reason, for them to get a divorce because technically we found out that he's still married to his wife, and she did not get that divorce finalized until December 29th, 2021. So
So now he got
Mary
a new
could
charge for bigamy.
he could walk away. I mean, she could walk away from this, and she can also testify against him because you're not a
Yeah.
spouse. You're not protected that way. Was there anybody who's on the panel who hasn't really gotten a chance to speak?
Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay, so I found this Jackie Reed person, and it says that was in 2005 or 6 that it was up in the air whether or not she was going to come back, and that she was not fired, but she quit. So I wonder why she quit, because you said she sued him, Jim. Is Jim still there?
Yeah, Jim's here. Jim, you're muted.
Yeah, I think there was it was some sort of lawsuit that was happening. They probably settled out of court. But I remember it was awkward on the show because they used to be like flirty. It was like flirty banter with her, and then all of a sudden we never saw her or heard her again on the station. And then it was like Steve just made a reference that there's going through some like legal issues behind the scenes. And then it was like no reference of her again.
Yeah, because it says that she was the former anchor of BT News, and she told the Daily News that she would not be speaking on her employment. So something major happened.
Yeah,
Well, can
but
I
I mean,
just say
the
one
point
thing
of
that I
my
think we all can agree about? Shirley Strawberry definitely needs to never give nobody any advice again,
Yes,
right?
Well, no, she has to do that.
That is true.
She's
So
gonna.
to ease everybody's mind, I do listen to Steve Harvey morning show, and I can tell you, I didn't know why they had changed the name, but now it all makes sense, which led me to do my own deep dive. They changed the name of this. I think now I can say at least by May. Maybe I started noticing it. They don't call it the strawberry letter anymore. They call it getting advice from the quote unquote chief love officer, which is Steve. So she'll read the letter to Steve and Steve will answer it. So she's no longer giving anybody advice. So everybody could rest assured at night.
What about
No,
the
the
people she led
strawberry
astray?
letter
What
is
about the other people?
the
The
chief
people
love
she did give
officer.
advice to.
The
Shoot.
chief
But
love officer is done earlier than the strawberry letter. They are still doing the strawberry letter,
Yeah, they
and I'm a
are.
Lord.
witness to it because I listen to them every morning when I'm ready for work. They still do that. They have another segment for the chief love officer where they have about 3 questions that people write in, but they do still do the strawberry letter. It's even on their Instagram
so is
page.
Shirley answering those questions or is it Steve?
She's
Because to me,
still
it seemed
giving
like
her
Steve was
advice.
answering.
She gives her advice and then he gives his.
And I think he did that because he always would interject when she would give her advice, and he'd be like, wait a minute, no, that don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Shirley,
she would say Steve, and then he would give his advice. So she would always
Right.
like pass it over to him to interject.
Right.
Somebody said was Marjorie in the picture. Now I've already done a deep dive on that. The allegations are Margie was never not in the picture, and
yes,
one of
please
Steve's
go and watch
mistresses,
that video.
who wrote a book, actually said that while she was having dealings with Steve and Steve was helping her set up her own business, she got a call and a request to come visit Atlanta from Marjorie Harvey. And she was told that Steve told her that this was just a friend, but she was like, she's too pretty just to be a friend. And we're going to get her set up with the same type of concierge business that you have. So no, Marjorie Harvey was never not in the picture, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
No, do with that as you may. Liberia,
Mims,
also thank you for the
thank
super
you.
chat. Hold on 1 second. Liberia Rose, thank you for the super chat. She says Shirley's advice has always been silly. Are you surprised now knowing what she would accept? Oh, what were you about to say, Autumn?
No,
I have a
I was gonna
question
say,
for
I really
everyone.
thank
Do you
you
guys
for.
think that Shirley eventually will get fired from this show, especially
No.
after a lot of stuff comes out during
I
when the
hope not.
What
trial?
would be the cause?
She's
Because
not
then that
gonna
would
get
be
fired. When they go on vacation, what's going to happen is she won't return, and they'll
I
come up
hope
When
with
her
not.
contract runs out.
just like they
Yeah.
that's
did
not
with
right.
girl
That's
Jackie.
not
They'll
right.
come up with the reason, and Carla will fill in.
But
No,
why would
I
they do
really
that?
hope
That's
not.
that's reprisal. So why
But
would
their
they?
contracts have to be renewed like every year or two. So
Yeah.
they probably won't renew her. I'm going to just be real. They probably won't.
No.
But this is
At
good
this point,
publicity for them. So
everybody
why wouldn't
with
they?
logical sense knows this woman is a victim. Yeah, you can't give nobody no advice, but you can still be a co-host, and that hopefully going forward, you'll wisen up and wake up and be able to tell how you survived this madness. Like I really feel for this woman. I don't know about anybody else.
No, we
I
know.
literally pray for her at night because if I was her, I would be mortified. You know what I mean? I would not want to wake up every day. You know what I mean? And I guess that's just how, I don't know. I have compassion for her. And I would for anybody else. It's not because she's a celebrity. I just listen to people's stories. And to me, this is horrible. You know
Well, I
what I
feel
mean?
for her as a fake wife, but I don't feel for her as a mother and grandmother. Because when I look at her Instagram and I see the pictures of her beautiful grandkids and her in it dancing around and playing, those kids really do love her. And to not take your daughter at her word, that is something wrong with your character. I'm sorry. It just is.
But you don't know what her word was.
I don't feel for you as a mother or grandmother.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
And so when you say she didn't take her at her word, what was her word? We don't know what her daughter told her. So was it just that I don't like him because he's too controlling on you? Maybe he was. Is that enough to dissolve a marriage?
It's what her daughter told the police.
Right, but we know from the phone calls that when her daughter went to the police, it said that she didn't speak. As of right now, we don't hear any conversations that she had with her daughter after her daughter left the police station. So as of right now, she does not know what the daughter told the police. So
she knows that he's been charged with, and she knows that he can't be around children, dogs, or anybody else.
But that didn't happen immediately, is what I'm saying. That didn't happen immediately. So that's why the timeline is important. Once the additional charges have come on, as of lately, she's not talking to him. She has come out and changed her whole mind. But when it first happened, her daughter went to the police. Her daughter came from the police and she heard about it from somebody else. Her daughter never told her what she told the police. So when people say she didn't take her daughter her word, they did not talk. Now, if I heard on a phone call, well, she came and she told me you did whatever and I don't believe her, then yeah, I would understand where you're coming from. And no, then you're dead wrong for that. You should have took your daughter at her word. But as of right now, from what we can hear, her daughter has not told her anything. And it's even coming out now. We don't even know what those alleged allegations are exactly about. So that's what I'm just saying. Let's just wait a minute, because it would take a lot for a mother to not stand by their child. And as of yet, I haven't seen her not do that. She didn't stop paying her rent. Her daughter's just not talking to her, and she's giving her space. In my opinion, at this point of what we're listening to from the phone calls and the timeline of what had actually transpired.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm just going to keep mine, because I'm not talking about new charges. I'm talking about the fact that whole video that was out where they had the judges, the lawyers, and all those people right there, and they were saying all of this stuff. Whatever point she found out is when amends should be made. You know, oh baby, I'm sorry, I didn't know, yada yada yada. Do you really think she's gonna sit on the phone knowing it's recorded and say, well, yeah, my daughter told me this about you? No, she's not gonna say that.
Okay, and this is why I say this.
She believed this man for everything he say.
Right, and let me just say this. She did not go to court. She did not see the Zoom calls. We're just now seeing the Zoom calls. So the day the Zoom call happened, she did not see that. We hear on the phone calls that when he came back from them Zoom calls, when he originally got those charges, that he told her something different. Is why I'm saying that, yeah, in hindsight, you'd be like, oh, well, you could have went and you could have looked at it. Shirley doesn't know anything about the system, and she asking him, how'd you make out in court today? What happened? So she's relying on him to give her the information. So she didn't see that for herself. So that's why
Can I jump in really quick? Hold on one second. I want to jump in really quick. S, thank you so much for the super chat. S says you can't be that stupid after a certain age in life. Thank you so much for the super chat. I want to look at these charges really quick, because I don't know if you guys can see them like I can.
I can see them.
Please zoom in Mims on a date.
Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. So if you look at the charges, they're numbered they're starting in 032873, right? So we know that the charges came later. My question is, if you look at the ones that I can't say on YouTube, like the R word and taking it from the back without permission, that kind of stuff. If this all happened in 2019 and 2021, why did it take him being locked up before you came forward? That's
I
something
can't leave
that
my
I
dog
don't
around when
understand
that's done.
That's something that I don't think anybody has really like discussed. Was it only you only felt safe once he was already incarcerated and you knew the incarceration would stick? Is that why you chose to finally go to the police? Because
Fear.
if this stuff had been happening to your, to the kid in 2019 and you just reported in 2022, what is going on there? Y'all see what I'm
And
saying?
also, yeah, but
Mhm.
also anywhere you live in America, you can pull up if a person gets arrested, you can pull up what they was in. You can pull up what they did.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can
She's
pull up the
saying that
complaint.
this,
She doesn't have to know about the
yeah.
law. I'm sure she knows
Well,
somebody that
his
can pull up
old
and see who.
charges was just well, I don't know why y'all got that Rocky Federal. It's just not just. I'm just gonna say, what are
This
those
ain't
things
stealing.
called?
God.
It's all those fraud charges like bounce checks and robbery. It has to do with theft. It has
That's
nothing.
enough. Bounce
That's
It has,
check.
enough
no,
though.
I get
For
that. No, I get that.
yeah.
But when you give somebody the benefit of the doubt, okay, you change. You're not going to do that anymore.
Was it his
So
signature on
that's
the
what she was
check?
looking at.
Hmm?
Was
Oh
Say
his
that
no.
again.
bar
What
in
did you ask?
2019?
Was it his signature? I mean, was it his handwriting? What do we mean? The benefit of a doubt? Was it his handwriting?
Wait. There was
The
two
bounce
questions asked.
check.
Somebody
The
said something
bounce.
about 2019. The 2019 is when uh, 2019 was originally when it actually happened, but it was filed in 2022.
Okay.
Right. Right. That's why it was considered part of new charges. So, like you see the
Okay.
CP on here, that
Mm-hmm.
did not actually come till I think the police had the ability to go through his phones and stuff like that and see what he
Correct.
had. And then
They
I
found
believe
images and stuff on his computer and stuff like
Was
that
that
when
the
they
stuff that was
arrested
in
him.
the Hummer that they, took?
say that again.
Correct.
That
And
the stuff in
that's
the
why,
Hummer, his stuff was in the Hummer. He said all my stuff was in the Hummer. So I guess
correct. They
they got
found that stuff on his laptops and his paperwork and stuff, and even the stuff with the animals and stuff. And some of this stuff is
oh,
actual.
that
We don't know
picture.
if they're actual
Oh,
actions or if they're actually pictures. You know what I mean?
look,
That he just had on his computer, which means that if you have the picture, I'm not making excuses. Means that if you have pictures of it on your computer, that you have a deviant mindset and you need to be watched because you could be dangerous. You know what I mean? It's
Maybe
all the
one
same.
picture. I see four.
Do
Maybe
what
one
Gabor
picture.
says.
I see four.
Definitely
You see,
hit the like button. We got like almost 1,200 people in here, but we only have 500 likes. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Now this is the lady who was supposed to be one of his newer employees, and she was going to be in his limo service, where she would be driving this Rolls Royce that she don't even look comfortable sitting in the passenger seat.
her
that she
eyes
was
help.
fancy and
Please,
Her
She
ma'am.
stuff.
got a
Look at that
look.
bob. Ma'am,
Help
look at
But
that
me.
bob this girl
look
got
at
on.
the
Then look
look
at
at
the
the
bra she got
outfit.
on. That's what I'm saying.
She's
Look at
Yeah,
that
wearing
why
bob.
is she dressed
hold on one
like this
second,
for
guys.
a
Hold on
job?
one second, guys. I
She
can't.
Yeah,
got
no. Something is
So
off.
it
Where
was
is
always
her dress shirt?
I'm
it
trying
was
to tell
it was
y'all.
always off, and we're gonna watch this really quickly because now that we know that he's also into trafficking, they're gonna be looking into all these things because she did not seem comfortable. So let's
She
Just a
She
video?
got that
yeah.
has a
bullshit
video.
look
Yeah.
on her
Start
face.
my limo
Like this
service
some
up,
bullshit.
my clients up to bring them to my parlor. My parlor is a barbershop, but it's a high-line parlor. So I'm stepping my game up now. I used to have the Bentleys to pick them up, so now I'm moving to the Rolls Royces.
She looking
So
like
I just
grandma.
need for you to see how
It
I
look like no
drive.
speaker English.
Take your time, look around because these people drive crazy down here. This is not a station wagon. So your first client is going to be my wife. I need you to pick her up on time, make sure you're on time, and make sure you pick this telephone up when the dispatch hits you up to pick the clients up.
Yes, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna start working for you on Monday.
She reading the
Okay,
script.
you sure?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am sure.
this is a
Okay,
skit.
I'm ready for this.
you ready?
Yes, I am. Let's do
Okay,
this.
all right, that's what I'm looking for. So guess what? The next move is I need for you to be beautiful, stay beautiful.
It's
So
giving. Can
think
I?
about
This
this.
is a
Yeah,
skit. This is not real.
Hold on one second. Let me get it out. If you like really like look at this, if you have this woman in a sheer bra, a sheer top
Mm-hmm.
with a bra showing, surely you need to ask questions why this is what his employees look like. Because she just said he said your first client is gonna be my wife. So when you see her, what are you not like? I would have questions. What kind of service are you running? Do you stop, at a motel during the ride at some point? Like, there has to be a level of
Or is this a
professionalism.
theme that they wear these sexy outfits? Like, is this part of the image of the company? Is
It's
everyone
giving.
dressed like this? Like,
What is this
what's
from?
going on?
It's
This
giving
was
Ernesto
Erno.
Epstein.
Yeah, this is Ernesto promoting his own business. However, we have since found out that this was not technically Ernesto's business. Erica King was the one who owned a car service. So Erica King was also his co-defendant. So all of this stuff, like all this stuff about, Ernesto was probably innocent in this is a lie, because Ernesto did not have any money to actually buy these cars. So now knowing that there was some form of a partnership with Erica King dating back to at least 2017, it's creepy, it's weird, and even the way that he coached her through this was weird. But I think I interrupted you, Gabor, and then Renaissance, jump in, because I know you haven't.
It's giving Ernesto Epstein. What I saw in the video, it didn't even look like she speak English. It didn't seem like that she spoke English. She looked like she didn't even know what he was saying, the way she was moving her head around. But what I really heard was pick up that phone when I called. It was giving pimp vibes. I'm sorry. I heard you better pick up that phone when he called. When you do Uber and stuff. When you do Uber and stuff, it show up already in the system. But it's giving. You better pick up that phone when I call. It's giving pimp. It's giving pimp.
Yeah, that's what.
Mims, are you able to play the video from Married to Medicine?
Wow.
Where all the girls come out and they doing splits and all this in front of the men.
That video is not
But that
really
would have been a good
online like
business
that.
motto. Like, that's a good.
Oh,
If he would
Autumn,
have
you
done
need to
that without
stop.
it. No, listen, you know how you guys think.
No, I
That's
don't.
a good model. If you have, I know when I go get my nails done, they bring champagne out and all this other stuff. I'd rather go to that salon than some other one I got to worry about getting foot fungus from. You know what I mean? So the more upper scale, you're gonna get a different clientele.
Yeah, but he got trafficking charges on him.
That's not what I.
No, I get that, but who would think that those women in the picture? Okay, Callie,
Hold on,
just based on what you said.
we gotta let. I promised Renaissance she could jump in, and then we got S because they
No,
haven't
most
been able to
definitely.
speak yet.
I'll piggyback off that show. Most definitely, I think his whole facade was to put out this lavish barbershop that had beautiful women that, catered to you and made sure you were served. But behind the scenes is where we get into all the charges, like the way the woman was dressed. And like someone said earlier, who goes down to the barbershop? I think a lot of what he was doing was he was taking honest money from Shirley, from her income, and putting that into the business. And let's be real. There are a lot of times we live outside of our means. Shirley wanted that lifestyle. She openly admitted she wanted things like what Marjorie had. Don't we all? So I think they just kept floating. And as things went on, when you're inside the bubble, it's hard to see the smoke. So she's putting into her spouse. She's saying, okay, let's put into this business. He's telling her, I got this delivery service. I got this bar, the business, whatever. Because he's the biggest scammer of them all. And she's just totally putting in. They keep moving. Money short. They keep moving. She's still staying in a big house. She's still getting the illusion that they're moving on. I believe she depleted her whole 401k. Anything they sold, she was constantly putting in to keep riding on. But eventually, this won't pan out.
Wow.
You can't keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. Eventually, both of them gonna want their dollars. And here's the thing,
girl.
I was looking at the charges, and a lot of I agree with you. I think a lot of the ones from January of 19, it says that was the offense date. Which after they comb through the evidence and they see the date of these recordings, they will continue to add charges. So she might not have been aware of those charges back at that time. That's just when the offense occurred. So yeah, he skipped the check. Well, we having hard financial times, but none of those massive, horrible charges showed up. She's just thinking they having financial issues. Everybody having financial issues, but we still rolling in Rolls Royces. I'm still getting my nails done. We moved from the 7,500 house in California. Now we to the 4,500 in Atlanta. We gonna go here because it's cheaper, cost of living. And I think she got caught up. I don't judge her for making her mistakes because, but for the grace of God, there go I too. And let's just be real. It happens.
Thank you.
I think now she's looking at it hindsight. and she can begin to like, wait a minute. And even when you listen to those calls, I listened to the one where when he told her Erica, I looked at that picture of that woman, and I'm with Autumn's mom. I wouldn't have recognized her if I had sat next, because it didn't look like the same woman. And if you
Thank
notice
you.
in that call, he said Erica, and he gave Erica a whole nother different last name. I said, yeah. She was like, oh, okay. He never said, Erica, the one who stayed next door. Because he knows how he's continued to scam her. And then one time when she said something,
Shout out
she
to Chronicle
tried to
Speaks
come
for
out,
these
he
pictures.
comes back with, too much whom is given, much is required. She said, yeah, but you got to be a good steward of what you have. Well, we just gonna keep on getting. He just
Now see right there, that looks like her. That looks like the one with the braids. Because it's the same
No, I
thing.
know it's
It is her. After I look really good, I do believe it's her now.
Yeah,
But
it's
just seeing the
her.
pictures, if I saw that in the news, I would have never assumed that's the girl who's next door to me that was over at my dinner in 2017 at the Christmas show. That woman, that makeup did her glories. It did her glories. She gained weight.
Yeah, she looked like Mama D with the makeup.
She
Thank you.
Not Mama D.
Yeah.
Mims, can we play the video again? Can we play the video of him with the escort? I mean, with him with the girl that's driving the car.
But Gabor, she
No, I want to see it
literally
again
looks like
because
she's reading
if I
something.
she did
She
look like
looks
she was
like-
reading
yeah.
something, but also he gives me like Todd Tucker vibes. Like, I'm playing like I'm a boss. I'm pretending like I'm a boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get on Instagram and pretend like I'm doing something. I'm gonna pretend like I'm working.
I think that
Oh.
I don't really know Shirley. Hi everyone, good evening. I don't know Shirley too much, but I think she was a sucker and he licked it. And for me, I really couldn't stand beside her when she had her kid go off separately. Like, you're a mom, you're supposed to stay by your kid. There's no exception to the rule when you have your kid thinking one way and
She
you
licked it?
Yeah, she's a sucker and he licked it.
Oh my God.
I don't have grace for her. I'm sorry. Like, I don't have the understanding of you, a woman. Like, take the age out of it, right? Like, you are not this stupid. You really listened to Tyler Perry and got a man that's gonna take you for a whole ride. At some point, she had to have known, because I think like when we give her this excuse of, oh, she didn't know this or whatever, we're kind of calling her stupid. And I fail to believe that. I feel like she just wanted, for whatever reason, to continue with this narrative of having a piece of man. And I don't think she deserves anyone's support when she went against her own blood. That daughter came out of her belly and through her canal, and she went against her man. I just
Amen.
see it any other way.
I want to say
But
something.
guys, it wasn't just a man, it was a lifestyle as well.
Girl, no, I'm sorry.
I don't think that she was just you have to look at the timeline. She was not living like this before she met this man. She wasn't.
I feel like he was staring into my soul. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's not just the lifestyle, because if you're a mom and you have your child.
No. What I'm saying is, you're saying it was for a man, but it was also the lifestyle. It was both of those things. That's what I'm saying.
You to hear this one a little bit. Closely, don't know. I do think like there's something wrong with Cheryl. And I really don't think that she deserves this level of grace. I feel like maybe there's some people that like her, and that's okay, right? Or there's some people who feel bad for her, and that's okay. But we have to acknowledge that this woman, I don't know, like this woman has to like accept some culpability in the matter, because there's no way a 3-time criminal is sitting in front of your face and you sitting there and not knowing what's going on.
I totally agree with you.
He's a con artist.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sorry that it ended this way, and maybe she didn't roll the dice. But a second part of it was like when Mims played that video, you have a younger woman rolling around with your fake Todd in a car that you're not there with. You know he's sleeping around.
Okay, I will say this much.
always
I'm gonna
bullied.
say this. I'm gonna say this much. I literally was sitting like right next to Todd and Candy. They were at the next table. They were very lovey-dovey. They were very happy. They were not working. He danced behind this woman basically the whole night, except when it was time to eat. Because, once the food came out, Candy sat down.
So,
Yeah.
so Mims, you telling me
But
that Candy took herself out because we know Todd didn't pay that bill.
Hey, as you ain't never spoke. Listen,
Y'all gonna leave Todd and Candy alone now.
they had a happy
Yourself
night
out,
off,
and you over
no
here telling me
kids.
you
but
paid
I have a serious question for Autumn's mom. Autumn's mom, and I'm not trying to sing. I'm not trying to single you out, but the video that Mim showed with the girl in the car, you really, if Shirley Strawberry saw that, you wouldn't have thought escort service.
No, I listen, boy. You didn't ask. You didn't
Did
hear me
she ever
say.
see this video?
Well, exact
Girl,
part,
that
Callie.
woman looking at.
What I'm
Come on now,
saying is,
Callie.
when I saw it, the boy, you
Mhm.
guys have to understand. What I'm saying for Shirley is not what I think for myself. When I saw the video, you heard me literally just say that is that a transgendered, woman. I didn't understand what I was looking at. I'm just saying,
I'm talking about the
Shirley
girl in the car.
is
I'm talking
no,
about
no,
the
right.
girl that was in the car.
She
The
didn't look like a
driver.
transgender to you?
The one
No,
that
she
was
looked like a
driving.
pretty. She looked like a pretty lady. She
No,
Who
she
I'm
looked.
talking about the Oriental
I'm talking
woman
the
that
one with
he.
I'm talking about with the one with the bob.
The one with the Bob worked for that Lamborghini. The one for the Bob worked for the Lamborghini thing. He went in with his Rolls Royce and probably told this woman, "Come take a ride with me. I'm gonna take you from here because I've heard good things." And that's what we were looking
She
at.
was lying.
You know what I mean? Now this is Shirley enjoying the life with the Rolls Royces
Let's
herself.
see. Let's see.
She knew they ain't had no money.
I'm listening
Hold
to
on one
some
second. Hold on one
tapes right
second.
now. Yes, please. I'm listening to some tapes right now, like motivational stuff. I figure I'm going to drive to work and I'm going to drive home. Why not try to get some education out of it or listen to something positive? But the one I was listening to this morning, that's what they were saying.
Look at the Rolls Royce, y'all.
So many people, you got to
Look at the
allow yourself
rakes.
to be happy and allow yourself to have
You can see the
things
rakes
go
from the
real
vac mills.
I mean, you're right, because they are here for a reason.
Yes.
I mean, all this stuff is here.
Well, Shirley,
life is short.
You put a lot of hard work and time into what you do, right?
He's the salesperson.
Right.
This is how he got
Stop very
everything
early, huh?
that he got. He used Shirley to get
You
it.
go your whole life and you work, you do this, and then I'm
I
listening to
think
some
she was
tapes right now.
involved, y'all.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
starting
I
to
know
think
y'all don't want
I'm
to hear
listening to
it,
some
but
I'm reading the comments, and somebody
motivational stuff.
said Autumn's
I
mom
figure I'm
needs to
going to
come
drive.
out and just say that she thinks Shirley's dumb. Let me just tell you, that's not my vocabulary. But if you're listening to what I'm saying, I am saying I do believe Shirley was less than smart, guys. I'm not saying she did everything right, but I'm old enough and wise enough to know that people can be deceived, and I try to understand why. You know what I mean? That's it. As far as there was another person in the comments, and this was funny to me. Autumn's mom, I truly believe your attempt to justify Shirley's silly behavior is because you see yourself in her. I take it you're a single older woman, lonely, and
That's not people on their age.
I'm laughing because I
Exactly.
know that's not true.
What I will say to you is, I know I learned in elementary school that what happens when you assume you make an ASS out of you, not me. So you don't know me. You don't know my life. I'm far from lonely. I'm far from whatever. But what I am is compassionate. And I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I don't try to kick people's back ends when it's out. And what I also do is, before I came up here and said anything, I can honestly say I listened to everything. I did my research. I have my facts. So I'm not just up here spewing stuff that I feel. I know stuff. I looked at the timeline. I did my research. So I'm speaking on facts. So now that I have facts on certain things, yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't understand. I cannot say I understand everything, but based upon what I see, I don't see it as how it was put out there in the media, where people was adding to it, putting 20 on 10, adding stuff that's not true and all this other stuff. And just as a human being, having compassion for another human being, and can see how people can not have all the facts and just be ready to kick you down because of whatever. That's not me. That's not my
But what
mission.
about the
Okay.
animals? What about the animals that can't speak for themselves?
No, honest
Those
mom,
are
I got a
charges
question.
that likely didn't come up until
Honest mom,
Now,
I
now Cheryl Underwood carries her purse everywhere. This was the time to have your purse close by you, Cheryl. Now, I don't know if you was trying to be the next Miss Williams, but don't do it, Cheryl. Run.
And I do have compassion for the victims. I didn't say Ernesto did anything right. I'm not over here defending
honest mom, I got
Ernesto.
a question. Hey, honest mom, I got a
Yes,
question.
I'm listening.
Do you have compassion for Shirley's daughter? Like,
I
I
do.
understand that you're providing a
I
different
do. Like I
strategy,
said,
right?
as soon
But
as
hang on,
somebody can tell.
let me finish because you took a long time the last time, right? So I understand what you're saying, right? You're looking at it from all angles. But from my perspective, right? If you were Shirley's friend and Shirley just ratted her daughter out on a jail phone call to this man, I want you to tell me how you would approach the situation for her. Whose compassion would you have? Well, who would you have more compassion for, the daughter in that situation or Shirley? Tell me.
So for me, that conversation, I don't have enough information to make a judgment.
Yeah, you
That's
do.
where I remove. So no. For me, I don't. Is what I'm saying. From that conversation, we heard a mother talking about how she felt about her daughter, but it wasn't in contact. She was just saying that she felt as though her daughter was turning on her. So in my opinion, who else are you going to tell that to? That's your husband. That's the man you're sleeping by. She wasn't thinking that it was going to be aired over the internet for everybody to know this, that, and the third. So
But
my
why would you cause
opinion.
conflict between your daughter and your husband?
Exactly.
She should have took that to
What
the
I'm saying,
grave.
did her daughter know about that phone call?
Doesn't matter. My thing is,
It
like,
doesn't matter. She still went back.
Shirley,
He knew about it. He knew that she went to the thing. He knew that she went to the police. That was talking to the police now.
Right. Here's the thing, right? Like
Oh,
for me,
boy, I get what you're saying. You're talking about something different.
No, hang on.
It's like,
Y'all, I think this is just her character.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all go.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking.
I
right?
have a quick question about the marriage. Since we now know that Ernest is his real name, was married, and the marriage did not the delusion of the marriage didn't happen until December of 2021. When Shirley and him got married in 2015, don't you have to file? Has anyone checked to see if there's a marriage certificate?
They may have had a marriage certificate.
How does that work?
It could be different. It's not
Yeah, is
valid.
it this easy to commit bigamy?
Yeah.
Ernesto had tried from prison to file for that divorce, but he just didn't see it all the way through. Again, shout out
But
to
here's the
Chronicle
thing.
Speaks.
Now, every state is
not
different.
He's not exactly the most cerebral person, so he probably thought he did it and was done with it. He then already found Ebony Steele. He was, pillow talking her from the prison, and then Shirley was the big, the big fish.
But every state is different. I know when I got married in South Carolina, I live in North Carolina now. They have records of your marriages and your divorces, because when me and my husband went to get our license, they put your name and stuff in the system. My previous marriage came up, and also the divorce.
You were married in the same
do that in
state.
every state or something?
Yes, every state is different, and you have to remember that's why people have been able to commit bigotry, in the past, because it doesn't automatically just come up if you marry somebody in a different
Not a
state.
U.S. situation, right? It comes up by state. So if he married his first wife in California or South Carolina, and him and Sherry did theirs, that would not come in. But whichever wife can come with the first marriage certificate that there's no legal divorce, and it's happened many times, and people die, and another wife pops up and she gets everything because she had the original certificate. And I want to say something about the daughter. You keep saying child. She was an adult, and I was in a situation. I'm an only child. My mother my father died when I was 22. They had been together for 20 years. She met a gentleman in her older age of life that swept her off her feet. He had been to prison, and I warned my mother. I have had a key to my mother's house since keys came into play. When she got with this man who was a drug addict, a convict. He was riding around her car, doing all kinds of. I was hearing it, and I would tell my mother, and she'd be like, "Oh no." And this is the same woman who raised me and would have told me, "Don't you date no man who got a record. Don't date nobody without a college degree." I couldn't believe that she was doing this.
Do as I do, not as I say.
Exactly. And I had to forgive my mother. I will never forget that man convinced her, well, your daughter is grown. You do too much for her. She needs to be on her own. Whatever. Don't da, da, da. And then I need to get your key back because Tommy don't feel, right with you having. I was like, what? I don't even come over here. I ended up giving her key back.
Oh no, he would have had to go
emotionally abusive. And it ended up that my mom didn't come to. She ended up having a stroke. And finally, she separated from that gentleman. And I had to take my mother in 2013 and care for her until she's now in a nursing home with Lewy bodies dementia. But she came back to me and apologized. And what I'm saying to you guys is it's amazing. Like I told her, she said, Rena, I don't ever think I grieved over losing your father. Over the 20 years, people go through things. You don't know what Shirley's history is. And I had to, because I know my mother loved me, but she apologized to me. And when she finally realized that, brother, he ended up going back to the pen for killing a woman.
Oh my God.
I was talking about the experience that I really am. And
Hold on. We have to let her finish.
I learned from that. I don't judge people. Because when women get in circumstances with a man, that love sometimes can cloud the mind.
Yes.
It can be so discouraging. And if you haven't been there, thank God you haven't. But when I look at my mother, and I know she loved me. I'm the only flesh of her flesh. She never had another child. She laid and prayed for me. I know she loved me. I prayed her through it, just like she prayed me through the times in my life when I did things that she didn't want me to do. So you cannot continue to judge. I don't hope that Shirley was wrong. She gonna have to go to God with that and deal with what she did, just like my mom. But I'm not going to judge her and tell, she needs her daughter. And her daughter will come too. She'll get it, whatever. But I can see the human aspect that we all fall short.
Thank you.
Hold on, really quick.
As you get
Bianca,
older.
Hold on 1 second, Gabor. Hold on. Thank you so much, Bianca Edwards, for joining the membership. I have started doing my members only lives when I do my interviews, and there will be some interviews coming up. I'll let you guys in the members only chat put
She's
questions.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're very pretty, Bianca. I'm also going to be having Drew Sidor's mom and sister on to do like a mental health thing tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. It starts at 7 Central, along with some actual bigwigs in mental health. Crystal Grant, thank you so much for joining the membership. I really appreciate you. And I think we had one super chat. Miss Yoli, what type of animals? Now, we don't technically know. It could be just as simple as having, videos and stuff on his.
There was peanut butter.
We have to be very.
And I don't want to say this anymore. Just use your imagination. And that was used to attract certain animals to do certain things to women. And that's what's called on videotape.
But
Hold on, guys. Hold on. No. Hold on 1 second.
He will not be demonetized.
No, no more.
I wasn't going to say it like that.
No, I'm just saying that there's things that I'm not going to touch because my stuff is being demonetized.
They get me to him, so I understand where you're coming from.
But I don't know if I would have forgave my mom. I don't know if I could have forgave my mama.
I do think it was. Hold on, guys.
I'm with Gabor.
Hold on, y'all are wearing me out. Hold on.
Okay, we're gonna follow this road all the way down. You're gonna take a sharp left. Okay, up here, past this tree here. Okay, once you get up here, you're gonna take another sharp turn. And over here, this is where you have me fucked up at. Right here in this place.
Y'all.
That is what it seems like, Mims. You correct.
What I want to say is, now this is just thoughts, right? If the daughter held on to what allegedly happened with their kids and everything, what if she didn't hold on to that? What if she had made mention to Shirley at some point? What if, right? We don't.
And maybe that's why he say, "Well, she just don't like me." It's a reason.
But
Yeah.
But Mims, let's take a time out there for a second, just because there's two conflicting reports at this time. There's one saying it was actually done, and there's another stating that there was a picture depicting that activity on the computer with a random. You know what I mean? That brought those charges. So
That's
we
what I.
don't
That's
know.
what I. But that's what I actually said. I said
Right.
that it could just be as simple as housing those type of images to get
Correct.
you
So we
these
don't know if this was
charges.
done to the grandchildren or the daughter or anything like that, or if it was just an image that was on the computer. So that's why I said just let's reserve
Yeah,
judgment until we know more
it sounds like
information.
it's images.
Hold on, guys.
It was 4 of
Hold on.
them.
Hold on 1 second, guys. We do know that this is not just an image, because when it was just an image, I'll show you the charges. I know we're solving crime over here.
Oh, Shirley.
If you look at the charges,
I feel like
you'll see. Hold on 1 second. You'll see that the charges where it was just an image was in 2022. Any of the like taking it from the back without permission and all that kind of stuff actually has dates. So that means that there's actually there was contact there, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Could those charges also have come back from video footage it keeps a date of when it was recorded? So if they found activities with video record that was dated, let's say January 19th, so they made that the offense date of when the offense occurred, then they have
I would have to talk to
behind it to see if
I have a lawyer that I
Pam.
talk to about these
Let's say
things.
talk to Pam about that.
No, Pam is not the lawyer. I mean, I do talk to Pam. I like Pam, but no, Pam is not the lawyer that I'm talking about. Miss Yoli, con men can smell loneliness and desperation, and they seek their fangs in.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't think that there's anybody who does not believe that that this issue started with this man seeing her as a mark and then going on to marry her. Thank you for the super chat. Miss Golden T40 says, I remember when Shirley worked on the radio back when she was in LA. Shirley's mom raised her daughter well into her teenage years.
Wow. No wonder she went and told.
But she also took care of her financially into adulthood.
Exactly.
So maybe
Guys,
But they say
can I
when you
say
don't raise your
something?
kids, you end up raising your grandkids.
Well, finances
Thank you,
and
Miss
Yeah.
Golden.
different things.
Good boy. I think I
But guys,
interrupted
can I say something really quickly about
Uh-huh.
Shirley? This is the thing. I think we're very attached to this stereotype of this older woman being scammed. But I'm gonna say this: as any grown ass woman, if a man has been arrested 3 times in 1 year, you know he's a criminal, and you just with the shits at that point. Excuse my
But I
language.
think that
Because
as you get older, though,
I need a
think that
bad boy. Know that
once you
song?
get older, you start getting lonely, and people start dropping like flies. So that's probably the dating pool now.
I don't
She's 70.
necessarily
She's almost
know
70.
if that is the case in 2022. Like a lot of these people her age are very healthy and vibrant. This baby boomer generation is a little bit different than the older people that were old when we were young. They really are. I think that she may have not known from the beginning, but I do think that there was a point where she knew that this man was a crook and she was just with it.
But you have to look at too that there are those certain people that will believe that just because you went to jail or just because you committed a crime doesn't mean that you're a bad person, and that everyone has the right to
3
change.
times this year.
I'm
telling a man like my man, you've been in jail 3 times this year, and I'm still thinking you're not a crook.
They're trying to bring a black man down.
I do think that there's something to be said, and we're going to read this really quick. With today's sentence, Jennifer Shaw finally faces the consequences of the many years she spent targeting vulnerable elderly victims. These individuals were lured in by false promises of financial security, but in reality, Shaw and her co-conspirators defrauded them out of their savings and left them with nothing to show for it. This conviction and sentence demonstrates once again that we will continue to protect victims. But even the Department of Justice is saying that community is a vulnerable community.
I understand.
That's all I'm
all
saying.
of that.
Everybody
I
can speak with
understand all of that, and I
conversation.
think that's.
And there's
I think that's why
Thank
Shirley's
God
getting
for
all
grace
this
is all
grace.
I'm saying. I thank God that I have more common sense than the average person, and hopefully I will never be a victim of this scam. But if I sat up here and then judge people I would be
But
feel
where was
bad.
she
It's
a
just for the
victim?
simple fact that I don't know where you were in your life, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, that led you down that road. I just want a deeper understanding. And for everybody else out there, let me clear this up one time, Mims. I know we cleared this up on Gabor's channel, but for everybody out here, Autumn in LA is not my daughter. The thoughts and opinions of Autumn's mom is solely that of Autumn's mom. Leave Autumn in LA out of my thoughts. She's not in danger. I'm not her mother.
She
But I'm
looks
just
like
letting you know, Autumn's mom.
your
I just
avatar and her could be related. Are we sure?
in my life, in my everyday, if I hear that somebody went to jail, that I know, I'm going to go look up the police report. You know what I'm saying? I know how to get online and go look up the police
But
report. I
how
can hear
old
what
is
they
you,
saying.
Gabor?
Baby
His
Shirley way older than
ex-wife
me.
Yeah, but
said,
Shirley
she
older
should
than
have
my
had someone
grandmother.
to help
no,
her
but hold on.
because she
His
didn't know.
ex-wife, his ex-wife that's younger than Shirley, that was trying to get a divorce from this man. It fell through, and then she's trying to do it again. Literally put on public paperwork that she went to MySpace in 2021 to look for him. So all I'm saying is everybody's knowledge ain't where everybody's knowledge is. That's all
No,
I'm
that's
saying.
cap.
I
Sorry.
hope I believe I would do better, but I just don't know that I can say that everybody would. I'm not thinking everybody where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Right,
Oh
like
Lord.
we're saying this
Yeah,
because
my
he
aunt
was
just learned how to
arrested,
use text
but
message.
if he was never arrested, guess what? We knew that he wasn't shit. Sorry, because he didn't get along with the kid, and she was over there just with it. That alone was enough. And then, like beyond that, he was arrested before. Shirley, I feel like needs accountability. Honest mom, I understand that you want to have compassion, which generally I'm a compassionate person as well. However, there needs to be accountability. There's no getting away with doing shit and then turn around and say, oh my God, my feelings and understanding and blah, blah, blah. No, Shirley. And I understand there are people out there who would be fine with that, but I'm a dragger. Her daughter could forgive her and that's fine, but I'm going to drag her and I'm going to judge her for this exact reason, because you know what? It acts as a deterrent for people to not do this kind of thing. That's all.
Can I just say this? When you talk about
Mm-hmm.
accountability, yes, I think she has to take accountability. But from what I'm seeing, she's lost 4 homes. She's not sitting on the phones complaining about it. They took her daggone wedding ring. They took her truck. She's not complaining about
These
it.
are
She's not an
all things he
Hold on.
brought
She's
to
not an
her.
Erica Girardi going to court trying to get it back. So whatever she was scammed out of because of her delusion, she's okay with losing.
That's
And
because
those are consequences for
This
her
is
actions, and that I don't
okay.
feel bad for. So I'm just saying, let's not think that there's no she's being publicly ridiculed by people that don't know everything that she knew about. She could have possibly lost her job, as well as she's got I know the strain of her family relationships, her friend relationships, from what she was told. She's gonna have to deal with all of that. That lays at her doorstep, and she's gonna have to deal with that. I'm not saying she should not have to deal with it, because ignorance is not an excuse. I'm just saying, let's not put her in the criminal category
I'm not
and
putting
make
her
it
in the criminal
seem like
category,
she
but I'm
knew
I'm
just
not
saying
everything
ruling it
that was
out.
going on.
I'm not
Put it
putting her
that
in the
way.
criminal category, and I'm not really judging her. I'm not putting her in the criminal category, and I'm not really judging her. But in my opinion, I don't think that she should have had no conversation with a man that was in jail about her daughter going to talk to the police unless it was her father. It doesn't matter that she was married to him. That's not her daddy. To me, it's like you going over, you know what I'm saying?
throwing
It's
your
like you
child to the
chose
wolves.
him over her.
But,
Hmm?
but y'all are
And you
talking
know
about,
they already have issues.
but y'all are speaking like it's
Well, okay, here's my thing.
a grown
I
adult.
am still missing where she was scammed, personally was scammed. I understand he was scamming people. I am not really seeing anything that definitively says he took this amount of money from her. Everything seems like she's getting. I think she was an accomplice.
Well, if they lived in multiple homes and she
Oh,
knew rent was not
I'm gonna
being
drop.
paid as a wife, where would you think that money was going? It's my belief,
Exactly.
but I'm gonna go. It's my belief that what he fed her was, baby, you know I got this. I'm trying to get this going. I had to put this into the barber shop. I
Mhm.
had to do this. But in the meantime, he's keeping her needs met with these lavish things and this lifestyle that she wants to lead. So she's thinking she's putting into an investment in a husband and wife
But
relationship.
nobody
That's
has
really red
said
ball.
that. She did not
People
say
live above
this.
their means all the
She has
time.
never said this.
She never said what?
Y'all, I think she was an accomplice. I really do. I think
And
she was an
that's where you lose
accomplice,
me, Callie.
and
I
people
don't feel she was
are
an accomplice.
giving her the
I
benefit of the
don't
doubt
think that she
because
was
of her
I
age.
don't
I don't
think
think it
that she was
started
an
that way.
Oh
I
my,
think it
oh
progressed into
Shirley,
that.
Shirley.
I've seen it, guys. My
I
mother.
don't think it started off that
That's about
way.
that's
I
70 right
think
there.
that she was
My mother, at the time she met
seduced
her
into it.
spouse, was getting $8,000 a month in retirement. She didn't even work anymore. Her husband was 12 years her junior, and literally they would be broke, and he would be spending money and just riding and just doing all. I'm like, Mom, how you going through? What the heck? What? And I'm like, how you? And I'm always, and they're just having a good time. Now I'm like, oh my gosh. But as they're living the lifestyle that they want, or they perceive that they want, they have this younger man who looks good, who's doing a lot of other things for them that I can't do as a daughter. And then, like I said, her daughter was not a child. She was a grown woman. And the man will convince that woman, well, she needs to be on home and you need to be. And a mother thinking, you know what? You're right. I have been doing this a long time. Maybe she do need to stand on her own. I don't have to pay her rent because it's just been them. I don't know how many kids she has. So I can see how this can become a convincing nature. Now, was it right or wrong? I'm not going to speak on that. But what I had to learn is I had to let my mother go through that, because if you're a woman, it's a lot of things. I might not have been blinded in that way, but I have been blinded. When you were sitting in the smoke of fog, you cannot see the smoke. Everybody outside that bubble can look in there and look at you exactly and say, ooh, that's right. And people will come to you and you will listen, and you will get mad at them.
She said Steve came.
I'm mad at Shirley. I blame
Q
Shirley.
jump in.
I don't trust Shirley.
Because
But why are you mad at her?
Because I feel like once they started taking my house and my car and my ring, I'm working with the feds. I'm flipping.
But if you was involved, are you working with the feds? If you
I'm working with them regardless. It was all
Co-defendant was working with the feds when she was involved. So if Shirley was involved, she would have cut a deal. The feds never arrested Shirley.
No,
She's
maybe
never
they
been
didn't have
implicated. So
anything on her.
But
That
Hold on, we
doesn't
gotta
mean
hold
that
on.
she
No,
was
no,
not
it's
helping
Q.
this man.
Q, jump in.
Chalkboard.
Well, good evening.
Hey,
what's good?
I agree with Kylie. I think Phaedra Senior knew what was going on. I think that Ernest, what's his name? Ernest. I think he put that jailbird pink on her and got her caught up. And
Mims clip is loaded.
Because you can't tell me at your big age that you ain't know what was going on with this man and these charges. You can't tell me that you don't know about. As much as she hang around Steve and Steve talk about how he from the hood and how he from the ghetto and all this kind of stuff, you ain't know what these charges, you ain't know what charges meant. You ain't know not to answer the phone for a ninja when he calling you from the jail. Like, Shirley, girl, play that game with somebody else. Cause honey, you and Phaedra both got off, and I'm happy for y'all. But Shirley, unfortunately, you did it wrong, because since you done lost your house, your apartment, your car, your ring, your jewelry, you get ready to lose your job.
Your daughter.
She's Erica Jane.
I think
that's what she is.
So the thing is,
why are we bringing Erica in it though?
And Erica wanted her stuff back. She was trying not to let it go.
Because if it was Garcelle, you would be doing that. Continue, Q.
Right.
I think the difference is, I think that one of the reasons
her and Erica is, I don't see Shirley with a dirty pool. But anyway, I feel like what else?
She got a pool. They put her out.
Oh my goodness!
You guys notice Shirley did not want to
feel like that with Shirley.
Hold on, we got to do one at a time.
I feel like with Shirley, and then you can't tell me, like, you work at a radio station and you are pretty much in control of the radio station. You can't tell me you don't know how to work no computer. You be up there reading them tired ass Shirley Strawberry letters. So, like, girl, please stop with the mess. It's okay, sis. You got caught up. You had that jail peen, and you was desperate for love, and this is why you in the situation you in.
Q, she didn't even voice radio.
Down there talking about you was down there talking about Margie, and we all know how Margie got her money. But you down there talking about Margie with them bad eye. What was that picture she showed with them eyelashes? Ooh.
Ice cream. I think one of the reasons why Shirley was so unwilling.
It was a wearable art.
What was it? Her face looked tight. Her face like Lil Kim face almost.
Oh
I think
my god.
one of the reasons why Shirley didn't want to go to talk to those police is once I think the fog was being lifted, and once she realized her marriage is not valid, so now she's no longer held into they can't force me to testify. She didn't want to go up there and talk to them because she has a fear that they will then come to her and try to charge her. That's why she never wants to go to that police station. But in that haze,
but you took the phone call. You took the phone call. And if they knew
Well,
she
I'm
lived in,
hearing
if
in the
Shirley had 15
YouTube
houses,
streets
they could
on
have found out where
Sherelle's
Shirley lived
world
at.
that Shirley is turning over state's evidence.
now she
I
is.
know that's
Now,
right.
Now,
I know
and
that's
that's
right.
only because she realized her marriage is not valid. I am not protected where I do not have to speak. So now I have to come through with anything that I know. So now the fog begins to lift. She begins to assess, you know what, maybe that now I can put together. Police are talking to her. So now she's able to give information from a space of clarity of mind. The pain been gone now for a year. The mind is opening up. Now I'm putting together, oh, maybe he wasn't putting into business. You know, it was a lot of women around and they did wear black and they did have sheer clothes on. Yeah, this is beginning to make sense because that's the truth coming in, and the acknowledgement. And now I'm not covered by this fake marriage. So let me go ahead and fall ship and talk about what I know. But I don't think that she concluded and thought he was running around there doing the things that we can't say on YouTube. I don't think that she really thought he was doing those.
Oh no, not that part. I'm talking
I don't
about the
think that, but
scamming.
I think she knew what was
No,
going
But
on.
the
I'm not
robbing
talking
Peter to
about
pay
those
Paul,
things.
yes, she did. She probably knew that. Oh, you wrote that
Yeah.
check and it bounced. Okay, wait, but that's just us living above our means because he kept feeding her with Rolls Royces, nails, hair
She was trying to
products.
keep up with more.
Well, anything can be rented these days.
She was.
So if you're
Also,
living
Shirley
a
was
life,
on the radio when Shirley was on the radio years ago. Shirley was talking about how much she needed. I need a man. Steve, help me find a man. I do anything to get a
every
man.
woman's
Steve,
dream.
how did you? Help me get somebody? Next thing you know, she getting engaged to a jailbird, and then you got all this stuff going on. So you can't tell me. It's hard for me to believe that when people get in these situations and you living with somebody, you live in 15 different houses together, and you moving every year like you Toya and Eugene, that you cannot tell me that what this man was doing behind the scenes. I get we got to give her grace because
When
she.
I saw my mama with all the alphabets behind her name,
I
master's
get
degree,
all of that, but Shirley
God,
knew
you'd
what
be
was going on with
surprised.
that man, and I don't believe for a second sis don't know how to use no computer, and she looked him up and she kept on going with it. And to Gabor's point, you got your ass up on that phone and you decided to tell him what was going on with your daughter. For that, Shirley gets no grace from me.
I think she started turning state's evidence over when she started hearing more about these phone calls and hearing the way he was talking to Sonia down there in Florida. Oh, thank you for letting me be the first person to touch your twins. And remember when I came over there 2 days in a row and we did this, that, and the other. I really don't think it has a whole lot to do with the fact that I think she knew that they weren't legally married.
Did you hear him
You don't
say?
think that they dropped a
Jim,
big old envelope on her desk at this point with
I
everything
heard.
at one time of all the things? Like by the time that Steve got it and she brought it to Steve that this is what it is. He's in jail,
He
and now
said that
he
he
knows
wanted to
about
eat
it.
it
You
standing
don't
up.
think that somebody did not come back there and say, "Girl, this is what you're dealing with. The man's still married. The man's this. The man's that." You think she's only finding this out from the internet at this point? Because if that was the point, the phone calls wouldn't have stopped back when they did.
What she's saying
And with
is
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie.
she's saying that she thinks that she's cooperating now that she knows. She probably wasn't gonna cooperate with the
But you
laws and stuff
can
at
hear
first.
hold on. How do we know that she's cooperating?
That's what I want.
Well, this was on Sherelle's World.
stop listening to that. I'm just
No, do
saying,
not do that. Do
everybody,
not
y'all
do that.
need to
Do not
get
do that.
three
No, no, no,
sources
no,
of.
no.
No, I'm not telling nobody not to listen to anybody's panel. What I'm trying to say to everybody is, this is what we learned in elementary school, guys. You got to get three reputable sources of information before you confirm that it's true. So before you confirm anything that you're hearing, even here on Mim's channel, Gabor's channel, anybody else's channel, get three sources before that you think that anything that you're hearing is true.
So I mean, to be honest with you, having connections to PIs and attorneys and stuff like that, if you are not actually asking them certain questions, it's very difficult. Like you have to give Ernesto's full name, then you have to find all of his aliases, then you have to find all the places that he's lived. So even for a private investigator, it could be a lot. Do I think that Shirley, for the first time, heard that her marriage might not be valid today or through Chronicle Speaks? Yes. I don't think that that is too far off, because you have your marriage certificate and you're thinking like a lot of people think, oh, if I got married and they did all the searches, we're good to go. So when I hear she's turning state's evidence against her husband, I don't know. It could be, but
Well, I'll
I do
say
really do. Hold on
allegedly
one
then.
second. Hold on one second. I do feel as though today was the first day she actually had certifiable evidence that her marriage was invalid. Shout out to Chronicle Speaks.
I want to
I
see.
do believe that.
I believe.
Yeah, jump in.
No, I'm saying I want to see some more pictures of Shirley and Ernesto.
I think you could hear from her voice in the last audio. You could hear her not falling. You could kind of see the disconnect, because before it was, let me lift him up, let me make him feel good, because he liked to hear how well he is doing, but she wasn't giving him that. She was eating chips or just smacking her mouth, kind of like Sonya was with him. She's kind of fed up with him at that point. So I'm thinking the rest of the calls that come out, we're really going to start to see it disintegrate to the point where they are blocking him.
Who was that special needs lady you showed with the braids? Who was that?
Who are you talking about?
Special needs.
The one with the braids. Who was that? She had
Erica King?
Oh.
Wait,
no, that was the lady that had the car company.
That's
right?
her right there.
Oh, child. She belonged at the lunch table by herself in that braid.
So,
picture.
Oh, you're talking about her.
Mama G.
That's the co-defendant.
That's the same lady you just showed before.
That ain't
So,
that girl.
Baby, that's two different.
man, so cute. So cute. Would you know that was your neighbor?
That's
and y'all, what kind of pastor do you know who has dresses on like this?
No, but honestly though, when you put the brakes on, honestly though, them brakes do wonders. When you put them brakes on your eyes, they do wonders and stuff. For real.
But all this mom, that I wouldn't know that was my name, but that's two different people. I would think
I
that was
wouldn't know either.
Show it again, man.
That's what I'm saying. I barely see my neighbors, and if you show me those two different pictures, I'm like, I don't know who that lady is. They don't look anything on.
Show me the other picture. Now y'all see, now ma'am, you see how they did her? You see how they did her? They got her in her natural state. They didn't do Tory like that. Tory still had his wig on, and he still had his nose ring in his ear, but they stripped this woman all the way down. They even took the rakes off her eyes.
I'm sorry. This lady looked like she looked the bus windows, and the other one looked like she went to the strip club.
She looks heavy. She did that. I can't even tell that's the same person. I'm sorry. Maybe it's me, but no. I would have been like, no, she don't live in my neighborhood.
Their nose will let you know. Their nose will let you know.
In that call, when she said, "Who's your co-defendant?" He said, "Erica Doobla-Blue," or whatever he said, and she was like, "Oh." He never said, Erica, our neighbor. Or Erica, who met with us in 2017 and came to the Christmas dinner. Erica King. He purposely gave her a different last name.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have put that either.
Nobody can tell me that they think that second picture without the wig on her head looked like she would have been in the same neighborhood as Shirley.
Okay, some of my neighbors are busted. Let me not lie there. Some of them are busted.
I'm saying I'm not talking about busted. I'm just saying, if you went to the mailbox, you can't tell me that you would have thought that was the same woman that you showed me a picture that was sitting at my dining room table.
But you would know that it's the same woman who is partnered with Ernesto in this car service business. If
they
you
did
said
a video.
Erica, I would have said, wait.
They don't look that to the
Erica that's been around.
No, he purposely gave a different last name and acted like it was some random person. She was like, Erica?
I would be racking my brains.
Yeah, he's like Erica, blah blah blah.
I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Erica next door, Erica King, the one who came to dinner in 2017.
But in the video, Erica walked on. He said, "This is Erica King," and he was propping her up about her business. But then all of a sudden, you don't know her last name.
Exactly. That was purposeful. That's con man game. This ain't stealing.
I stand with Gabor, and that's at one more. It says the cat should have dried up when she heard jail.
Girl, you'd be surprised. True
I
story.
trust
That's
my Amy
true.
said,
Before
my
you say
Amy,
them out
rest in
loud.
peace. Rest in
Thank
peace.
you, S. Thank you.
Hey, they went
You
the
going
other
to go
way.
do what? They said
Yeah.
that you did what? Oh wow.
y'all are cutting
But
up.
whoever said barbershops and all that stuff, you know, you want to go to a high end place to get your stuff done, your nails and all of that. Nothing in that barbershop was giving high end just because women walked in carrying bottles of whatever they were carrying. Next thing you know, one of them busting it wide open on the floor. So you leaving coochie juice in a high end place? I mean, I'm
But
just
that's what
saying.
men like. That's
Right.
what
So men
men
would
like. If
like it.
I'm going to get my nails done, I'm gonna look for something different. But what men
That's
like
not
is just
true
something to
though. That's
excite their
that's
eyes
not
at the moment.
true. I think that women think that, but that's not true. I think that women think that, but men who don't get no puss, that's what they like. But men
Right.
who really want their haircut and want their haircut a certain way, they don't really care who in there walking around with the bottles. They want to make sure their lineup is
Yeah,
right.
because they want to make sure that
Oh yeah,
barber is
I agree
convenient
with
for
you,
you
good boy.
to
That's why Eugene was like, I ain't never been to no salon like this before.
right.
Because you don't have time for your
But you
barber
got
shop.
more
You
men
don't have
that's
time for your barber
thirsty than you have those that are satisfied. Let's be real.
But y'all, this again, I hate to keep using this word on Mim's channel, but this is a man with a trafficking charge. So it is to be assumed that this was a front for him to try to get clients. I'm sorry.
It is
I'm
a
not
front.
sure that that Shirley knew about those sorts of things, but I
Right.
do think that she knew he was a scammer. I do believe that.
Yeah, and she knew he was a criminal, and she married him because she was desperate for love.
I think that
And
she
he
was
was
trying to keep
also
up.
giving her money.
Right.
She
I
was
think it
trying
was
to keep
both of
up with.
those things.
Right,
She
because
was
her
trying to
credit
keep up with
was already
Marjorie.
jacked.
But
Yeah.
the thing is also, just because she's on the radio with Steve Harvey doesn't mean she's making Steve Harvey money. She could be
Thank
It
you.
sounded like she was.
she could be making regular money, but because she's up there, we thinking she making all this big money. No, she could be making regular $100,000, maybe $200,000 a year. He's
Thank
up there
you.
with millions.
That's nothing in California.
Hugh, I agree with you on that point because we've seen people that had hundreds of millions of dollars, i.e., Hammer. I don't know why that keeps coming to my mind, but and lost it all. So if somebody had just a regular salary, depending on what your lifestyle is and who you're taking care of, and what your investments are, and then remember the pandemic happened. So depending on what you invested in, you could have lost it all. Is all I'm saying. Like it's a lot of factors. That's all why I'm reserving judgment. I'm waiting for the trial. I'm
For her
literally waiting for the
And it's
trial.
her, and it's
For
her
And
her
if
I love it.
if
going
after the
out.
trial it comes out, I promise you guys, if after the trial it comes out that Shirley knew about this all along, this, that, and the third, I will come out and apologize to all of you and be like, yes, I was naive and dumb. I did not know this, that, and the third, whatever.
Do
But
we have a
I
trial date?
because we're
no,
all in
he
shock.
hasn't. No, the indictments are still coming in at this point. You know what I mean? There's no trial date. They're still collecting evidence. He could sit there, like he just said in the last phone call, he knows people that have been in jail for up to 4 years without even having a trial. So who knows? But like I said, I don't know. I don't live in that world, but because I know some people that do, I'm just trying to understand. I'm not trying to justify. Let's get that right. Not trying to justify, but I just don't like calling people stupid and this, that, and the third. That just seems like I don't know. It just seems like I don't know.
You know
Okay,
what,
so you're
the
right.
little time that I have known you, I will give you that. You do always stand on that side at the beginning. I will
Hmm.
give you that. You do always stand on
At the
that side,
beginning.
though. You do
I
always
try
stand
to
because you
like
do try to give people.
in order for me to wake up every day, guys, I have to hold on to the fact that this world is not as demonic as it seems. You know what I mean? And people aren't as bad as it seems. So to wake
But
up
these
one
men,
day and realize that everything that people told you was true and you're supposed to do this, that, and the third, and this is right. And then all of a sudden, everything that you learned was right one day is now all of a sudden wrong. I'm coming into this and I'm evolving. You know what I mean? So, but I just don't believe that people have to be instinctively evil, because it'll be hard for me to get up and help people every day. And that's what I try to do. You know what I mean? So I don't want to believe that. I
But
really don't.
he took
It's a question
advantage
of
of
looking at
her.
what
Hold
drives
on, Mom. Are you crying?
they do.
No,
Push
I'm
yourself.
not crying. I'm just passionate about how
Oh,
you
baby.
don't know, I really do a lot for a lot of people. And to think that people are as bad as you guys, no, now I am, Nicole. Shut up.
It's okay. Okay, I'm just,
But I think the
you know,
thing
I'm a
is, Shirley
sensitive
may not
cancer.
have
I'm
been a
gonna cry
bad.
with you, baby.
Shirley may not have
No,
been a
just
bad
to think
person,
that
but
this is what it is really hard for me. I, I don't want to believe that. I
regardless
don't.
of what you did.
I am so with Autumn's mom, because I look at people's minds. What makes people do the things that they do? What drives a person? What are your experiences? What did you think? What have you went through in life? Like, I've been through some really dark times and come through them. And I know I'm not a bad person. So if you live that and you realize these things, it's not as easy to judge someone like that. I do not judge people, because at the end of the day, we all fall short. And every time I see somebody, I can only think, but for the grace of God, there go I. Thankfully, I'm not there today. But when I see people in those, and this goes to serial killers, anybody who does, I study these people. What mentally makes them do this? What did they? And you will usually find there was something, there was an imbalance of something. People don't just, just to choose to do horrible things. So I just have to, I believe that there's most good in most people. They're just damaged. They're imbalanced. Things can make people imbalanced.
But I
You can
also
make
think that
bad
people are also
decisions.
just bad individuals too. And I think that he took advantage of somebody who was
Yes,
desperately looking for love, and he pulled by her, her co-strings, and he took advantage of her and got
Most
her caught
definitely.
up. And that's what it is. There are people who are bad people in the world, and I think sometimes people don't want to accept that with people.
They
But
make bad decisions.
people
They
are
choose
the
to. It's what I call a hood mentality. There are a lot of people out there that don't know how to go and get for themselves. So what they do is they learn to take from someone else, because they live. We don't know what his childhood like. He might have lived as a child who they didn't have minimal food, and he saw his mother scheme and hustle to do things. So it becomes a mentality. We see it today. You know what I'm saying? So that you become an adult and you only learn how to take from others.
Yep.
You
Yes,
learn
and,
how to
and
scheme and
Renaissance, when
scam.
people haven't had nothing growing up, they really don't care or have compassion for other people.
No.
Exactly.
That's true.
But it's
That's
not
true.
because they don't, because there was never any compassion for them, because they live in torment, and there is grace and mercy that I give to them. So you have to come through that. That's why I say, once you get to be 18 years old, you cannot hold your parents accountable anymore. You have to take accountability of your own actions. Study thyself to be true, and know
Well,
that
an
you can
18-year-old
go.
is not.
My kids are not at Walmart shoplifting,
My
honey.
kid ain't at Walmart either, sweetie.
Oh,
And don't
his
let me
ain't at
bring
Walmart
kids
shoplifting?
in here, sweetie. We ain't gonna go
We're
there with the
talking about
children.
being rich.
I wouldn't stoop to your level and go with the kids.
See?
That's
And
my
once
favorite
you go through
reunion.
those things and you pull yourself out of those dark times, and you see someone else you can have grace for somebody else. I don't judge nobody. I just pray to God that I'm not there today.
Well,
Guys, we're not doing.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna end this out. Not today.
Is
Next
he?
says OJ
I
was
am.
acquitted in a trial. Was he innocent? Absolutely not. Thank you for the super chat.
But y'all, just real
But he
quick, I
got it
just
back
wanted to
on
say
again.
that I
No.
think it
We
may
are
have
no,
been.
Callie. We are almost at 2.5 hours.
No,
We could do. Let's do 2.5. Let's do two
We
and a
can go
half.
to.
No, I'm just going to really quickly say, I think for
He
her
said no.
that it may have also been difficult for her to be surrounded by all these rich people if she was not making that much money. And I do think that there
Only one
is
person
a
was rich.
financial element to this. I don't think it was just love. I think that she wanted a certain lifestyle. I'm sorry.
It was love.
No, we all do not want a lifestyle, but Callie is very vocal about her feelings and beliefs on dating at a certain level. Is that fair to say?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but to me, that's not really relevant here. Because I think that her issue was more that she's kind of in a circle with a bunch of rich people and she ain't rich. And then this man comes along and starts buying you all this stuff, and you get sucked up into scamming.
That ain't it, Callie. That ain't it.
But she said that,
No,
we didn't have that kind of money. We not millionaires. We not living that lifestyle. But you riding around in that car that Mims just showed us. How did you get it? You know,
Yeah.
people
They
don't have
wanted it.
You
An
think you paying for it because
African
you
got it
spent your
for him.
rent 7 months.
The same African that got Portia's car got his. An African.
Yeah, that's why we
Okay,
we know we
y'all.
got that road.
Autumn's
I
mom,
promised you guys a.
Autumn's mom, look at all of the hearts in the chat.
This is all opinions. So Autumn's mom, I hope you feel better. Okay. So, don't feel like you have to defend yourself or come back and apologize if it comes to find out that Shirley knew everything. Those are your opinions. You are entitled to your opinions. So that's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Mims. Keep the
No
clips
problem.
loaded.
We did not mean to make you cry, Autumn's mom.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. Like I said, I just
No,
try to
you
see the
human.
best in
You
people.
apologize.
You
That's it.
human.
You don't need to
And it's
apologize.
not Shirley. I don't know her. I would do the same for you, Mims, you, Gabor, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
going to get to the bottom of the story before I kick your back in. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think that we're just on here and we're just starting to learn each other.
I have
And
a
it was
serious
at this
question, though.
point now I know that this is who you really are.
Your
We
glass
just
half full.
I have a as we end the show, I have a serious question.
Okay.
What's the weather gonna be in Houston this weekend? Is it gonna be like hot? Is y'all heat like
It's gonna be 106 degrees.
Is it like humid heat or is it like a breezy heat?
It ain't no air heat. It's I can't breathe heat. I go outside and water comes off my body heat. That's what that is. Yeah.
Humid.
What's my question?
That's that humid.
But okay, guys, this was y'all wanted an open panel on this topic. I definitely we did 2.5 hours, and that does not happen.
We didn't do
on
2.5
this-
hours. We need 4 more minutes and 45 seconds to get 2.5 hours.
I guess we're
Today is
underachievers because we're
20th.
not doing 2.5 hours. So thank you
Ma'ams,
guys.
really?
This is not
Thank
us
you,
good in
ma'am.
analytics. Jay is
Y'all, please hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. Please.
I have like been traveling all day. I've been putting together that stuff for that mental health thing tomorrow. It was a lot. While I was
I
out
think
of
I
town.
need to check in.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you need
I
to
think
come
they will
back.
take some
You need to
questions,
come
and
back.
these people are bigwigs. Dana Murray, thank you, Mims and panel. Good night. Thank you, Dana Murray. That's a great way to end it. We
Thank
did
you,
not do 2.5
Dana.
hours.
Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.